Чуваков рассадили, блин. Спасибо, что они заставили их кулаки вот так сжимать нахрен. Дай бог здоровья.
Competitions are full of desire. Dreams, perfection, records, revenge, confidence, success, growth, passion, validation, and triumph. Desires are not a vice. They're stepping stones to victory.
每次看到别的队伍夺冠，我们就对冠军的渴望会更多一些。这是我职业生涯中最后一次比赛，所以说我非常渴望冠军。
Это чё, подожди, их реально в эту лоху вывели? А, ну это ж Дубай.
I'll tell you this now. This is our territory.
Мы поставили себе самую амбициозную цель. Мы хотим только победы. Простите, но не в этот раз.
สิ่งที่เรายังไม่ได้อย่างเดียวก็คือแชมป์โลกนะครับ รอเลยนะครับ รอบของไอ้แปดกำลังจะมาเลยนะครับ Chúng tôi là một đội tuyển mới nhưng chúng tôi tự tin là chúng tôi mạnh nhất giải đấu lần này. Màn trình diễn của chúng tôi vẫn chưa kết thúc. 더 집중해서 폭발력 있는 원래 저희 팀의 모습을 보여드리도록 하겠습니다. 아직 끝나지 않았어요.
Это там у тайца такой язык был? Вот это.
Well, it's hard to beat teams that enjoy playing and enjoy the grand final. And we're going to show you guys just how much we enjoy it.
Как будто кого-то передразнивает, блин.
Титулы сильнейших команд Европы и этот PGC.
We are the team who played the most games in this tournament, so we are prepared for the grand finals.
FaZe have not been the world champions yet in PUBG. We need to be that before I can be satisfied with my performance in this game.
Đội em đến được grand final có lẽ là định mệnh. Ông trời sắp đặt.
Локации красивые, конечно.
Tốt để không bỏ lỡ cái cơ hội quý giá.
Атмосферные такие.
Obviously, New Happy and Peru didn't qualify, which is like two major upsets. I think having more EU teams in the lobby.
Я так понимаю, они эти два выходных время зря не теряли.
더 이상 우리를 언더독이라고 부르지 마세요. 우리는 그 어떤 팀보다 이 무대에 더 잘 어울립니다.
Салюта хорошо сняли. Этот мув был неплохой, кстати.
Are you guys ready to see your talent? We will never die. We are perfect any other time.
Во время PGC мы всегда были на первом месте, поэтому прошли в гранд-финал. Мы являемся командой, которая с самого начала до самого конца будет делать все возможное, чтобы победить. Следи за тем, как Нави побеждает.
Ду-ду-ду-ду. Сейчас ко мне придет новый микрофон, но пользоваться им будем уже, наверное, завтра. Хотя он новый, но не лучше, чем мой нынешний, просто другой. Так, ну что, мы видим, что пацаны уже в лобби. Что-то там с настройками, пока трехзначный циферблат ставим со временем. Где чепуха на скубе? Походу он еще спит, что ли?
There is so much star quality that we're looking at in this. We've seen some rise in strength going through the losers bracket. We had people that were coming in from the PCSs, and we just knew that they were going to like excel.
Блин, этот голос у чувака, конечно. Я тут нашел видос. Типа, какие надо делать упражнения, чтобы твой голос стал ниже. И там сказано, что за месяц твой голос точно станет ниже. И типа куча комментариев под видео, якобы это реально работает. И вот я думаю, поэкспериментировать над собой или нет. Целый месяц делать те упражнения, которые там указаны. Может быть, наконец-то у меня голос станет ниже, а не вот этот вот. Знаете, у меня такой довольно-таки такой низкий голос, когда я с похмелья. Там прям реально... я же уведомление не отправил о том, что мы с вами начали смотреть финал PGC. Так засмотрелся на вступительную часть, что...
Young teams like United that are really hungry to try to pick up a title. You've got veteran teams like Navi, like FaZe, like Twisted Minds that have been around the block quite a few times and really want to get that first title. Because guess what, Matra? No matter what happens here, we are going to be crowning a new champion.
Oh, that is going to be
месяц бухать. Всегда быть с похмелья, получается? Не-не-не, там не такой способ.
There is something that I want to keep an eye on moving through here is United has spent a full year being called rats and being called all these other things because they have solid rotations and the way they move through. You know, every single team here has a storyline like that where they're coming in, they're wanting to prove something, and you can see it. Like if you went on social media, everybody was like, we are going to win, and it's not like usually I know everybody says, oh, we're going to win. Everybody here is charged and they think they have the capabilities, and it's really going to be about how fast you can adapt over these next 4 days.
Yeah, and they have a really good read on this lobby, I think. So far, they have a very unique and interesting take on it, and that's something they've told me that they think is really benefiting them throughout this event.
Yeah, and I can't forget as well, I got to give a quick shout out that we've had the Dodano family here, as they have 2 different sons that are competing on opposite teams for Wildcard and FaZe both. So with this, guys, it is time to move into our first game. Let's get everything underway. Paper, I'm excited.
I am thrilled. We're going to kick it off on Erangel for match number 1 here at the PGC 2022 Grand Finals.
Flame Bath through the middle, nothing crazy, but that means the fact that at least we haven't been seeing like all the wild circles. Maybe this one has a chance to start off, I guess, medium rare, right?
I don't know if I can believe that with these circles that you and I have been getting.
It's going to court.
Yeah, Southwest, I mean, that seems to be a bit of a guaranteed with us. But no, I mean, this is a pretty fair Flame Bath for the most part. I mean, a little bit difficult like for the military dropping teams and things like that, but maybe you have to look for an alternate drop. Of course, you know, are there going to be any hot drops is always a story in every lobby, especially at a global event like this where, you know, you have to change lobbies day to day. So
начал отправлять уведомления и залип на переписку, блин. О, этот стример «Золотая рыбка». Псина вонючая, где там вообще?
Looks pretty good for everyone. No big major stretches either, except for whenever we look over the expendables, they're doing their big long Gatka split. Mostly, everybody else looks like they're getting some pretty big comfort. Now it's just going to be about where the circle is going to be sending us. Are we going to get... Oh, hey, wait a minute. We got some jukes that are going on over here. We just saw some solid dancing, and now we're going to go ahead and get some dancing of our own. Jumping into the vehicle, and yes, we are still...
Так, что у нас? Зона. Левая часть. Опять где-нибудь... Ох, эти зоны. Неплохая зона для квешн-марков, кстати. Только появилась LT, чтобы полутаться. Кто, по твоему мнению, будет топ-1? Так я, конечно, кто еще? Как тут можно говорить о том, кто будет? Нет такого явного лидера, который тренькает всех подряд. Типа, я не знаю, Нави, конечно... немножечко выделялись, но на ПКСе они были просто отвратительными, поэтому я не знаю, насколько тут можно говорить о том, что они закрепятся и будут. И будут также хорошо играть, не знаю. Посмотрим, увидим.
최대한 노력해서 작년보다 높은 성적 꼭 만들어내도록 하겠습니다. 화이팅!
All right, well, you know, this is a team that is near and dear to my heart, obviously, being from the Asia region, living in South Korea.
Блин, я же экран не переключил.
Has long been, for the last couple of years, since they brought Seoul and Salute to the team, a real force in the region, one of the best teams in the world throughout their runs. And, you know, now they've brought Lambu in from Ghibli. It used to be a very, very good team last year as well. And so, you know, like they wanted him as the IGL, and he's been a little bit shaky. Helen as well, from the former T1 player coming over for Donawa, has really had a resurgence this year.
Yeah, with the way that we're looking at everything coming through, we've got Everest still being a key component inside this, so Expendable is going to be making a rotation into this one. Danawa, I feel, is going to have a lot of, I guess, hopes resting on their shoulders. What's the conversation like going on over in South Korea right now with how the qualifications ran?
Что-то знаете, что я захотел? Мороженое.
Может
попросить у Маши мороженое мне купить, она как раз.
Expected in a way. Obviously, a lot of people are very sad that Gen G isn't here, but you know, Gen G just was kind of on a steady decline through, you know, throughout PCS 7 and into this event. So, for the rest of the region, you know, these two teams that are here are doing well.
Типа, если смотреть на команды, то
that maybe right now Korea isn't as strong as it used to be.
Энтропики прошли? Энтропики нахрен как прошли? Охренеть, блин.
You know, POA former champion as well as Taemin was on that team, so they really needed, you know, a spark, and it's going to take, you know, the Freaks to do it now.
Through, yeah, this is I guess regional. There is always the regional discussion. I mean, you know, there's always the EU versus NA conversations and the Korea versus China. But whenever we get to the stage, I just kind of drop so much of that bias. It's all about just the action, game per game, moving into this capabilities of what these teams can try to bring up. Question mark.
А стрим как называется, чел? А, чел.
Leaning into the coastlines, and they've got territory control for quite a ways.
Чел, а?
Moving near them.
Вот здесь вот что написано? Вот здесь вот что написано? Вот там вот на таблице что написано? А что это? Это я что-то выделил или что? Что происходит? Вот тут вот сверху что написано, видишь? А? Последний день, последние катки прошли энтропик. Это вообще тильт просто. Энтропики максимально унылая команда, по крайней мере, по всем тем играм, которые были до сегодняшнего дня. А я еще думаю, Нейла, что ты делаешь в этом ролике? Типа... Да.
And losers too, right beforehand, string together some wins, and that's what got them there. Beforehand, it was kind of quiet. Speaking of quiet, you can see that there's not a lot of shooting that's going to be going on in this circle right now. Early rotators have made the send around that Everest area, with several of the teams still playing to the west of that. But really, there's still some tail-end teams, such as, whenever I'm looking through this, we got Yahoo, TMA, FaZe, E-United. No rush to move into this circle just yet, and I think that that's still just kind of feeling out what's going on. Don't be surprised if there's a lot of that going on in this first game or two, where everybody's just kind of, nobody really wants to just walk up and start like a smackdown fight yet. Everybody just kind of wants to prod the beast that's next to them and see how this is going to develop over the next few days.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is pretty typical for events like this, where the very first game, sometimes it can be just completely wild because teams think they have a good read on each other, and then they actually don't, so they end up kind of crossing paths early. But in this case, everybody's playing it safe, everybody's playing it cautious, taking their time, making sure they're, you know, doing their information, getting their recon, these kind of things. We'll see how this one's going to play out. Wildcard is sort of camping that easternmost bridge, the Georgia Pole Bridge in this circle. There is OP going very, very far around. I mean, Overpeaker's one of those teams that got through in the Grand Survival.
I mean, this is like where we saw Wildcard. That is the most known bridge camp or trap, quote unquote, that exists in competitive. At this point, I'm surprised when people actually drive across that bridge because there's almost always at least one team there.
Yeah, it's like it was like Tai Lu a bunch earlier, and yeah, everybody's kind of in there. A little bit of damage being done to Yahoo from Perfectix. He's got an opportunity here for the knock, not going to find it onto Balefrost, so Yahoo going to be able to drive away, but they are far on the eastern side, so you know, as this one starts to circle in, it can be tough. A lot of the area to the south of the mountain is pretty wide open. There's some hills and things like that here and there, but it's sparse with the foliage. It's sparse with the trees, so it gives a little bit more of a Miramar feel to it. It's a little bit more difficult to kind of find safe space at times.
We do have most of our teams also leaning to the south of Georgia Pool. Yes, we do have Georgia Pool Bay and North George almost going up into Zarki inside the circle. Everybody is leaning into the south, and with due reason, that's where the circle is going to be going. We do have TMA that is playing up around that area, but I think that's just for rotation. Most teams still committing in, and still, this is like just pot shots.
Ой, чат, вы, конечно, меня простите, но я пошел и налил себе чай. Но как бы это не ошибка, я считаю, потому что у нас с вами прошло 8 минут. О, Псина пришла. Салам алейкум, Псина. У нас с вами 8 минут, почти 9, ничего не произошло, так что зачем бегать, не ошибка вообще.
You know, I can see maybe one fight brewing towards the southern area with Day Trade and Cerberus being rather close to each other, just to the south of the top 6. You know, Wildcard, of course, has Yaho as well, driving right on their heels. But again, Yaho has been really good about kind of flirting with dangerous territory.
Самое время
попить чайку. It is not safe to make their move, and again, they're just going to move to the other side of this hill.
Дикий экшон вообще. Приятного аппетита, спасибо. Сейчас из наших Дубая. Нави ВП и КУМ.
I mean, a lot of teams as well made early rotations in this circle because of, you know, just it's the first game. You want to be there, and I think a lot of teams are scared to play edge because it's been a pretty brutal grind on the edge of these circles.
It was the first circle. Everybody wants to get there pretty fast, so everybody was kind of hauling him ass in order to get to this position.
Когда увидел Энтропика в финале, так что-то расстроился.
Nice, yes, he is a player.
Подумал, что они без шансов всех будут уничтожать, блин, зачем их сюда позвали?
Да, они могут нормально поиграть.
Столько экшена от них, столько вообще. Могут нормально поиграть не в этом году, видимо.
Well, I mean, you know, good is in a relative sense, right?
Где Соники?
As good as puns can be. Okay, so TMA on a pre-rotation across the bridge. I don't see anybody else in vehicles other than Yahoo is just continuing to drive away from Wildcard, so phase 2 circle, very important here, Matt, as it's going to dictate quite a bit of this game. Let's see how much of the north, you know, water and river it's going to cut out.
А ты был хоть раз чемпионом?
Yeah, so we don't even keep all of Everest.
Так что давайте
я всегда чемпион.
Later now going to have to make a move. You can see Wildcard already starting to press in. Yoho's going to follow it back behind that one. Twisted Minds, they have a path, but that's going to put them pretty close to a couple of teams that might be a problem.
Знаешь, что хотел узнать?
So far back in this, they're probably not going to bump into anybody for too long.
Краткий отчет, ну, какую-нибудь рецензию дай по колде.
George Bridge come down. Danawa, though, now compressing in. They're going to be moving right into the TE, and this is going to be the big moving factors for that. They navigate this well at the start.
Лагает, скучно. По факту ничего нового.
Сыренько еще.
Ну, подлагивает кое-где там текстур. Ну нет, можно поиграть на самом деле. Лагает в плане соединения постоянно устанавливает после каждой игры. Это вообще дрочь какая-то.
А по фэпасам что?
140, 150. Неважно на каких настройках. Я не знаю, может что-то я не так делал.
Кстати, у меня в колде был такой прикол, что у меня в 2К было больше FPS, чем в Full HD.
Ну, не знаю. Вот.
Ну, ты же понимаешь, что у тебя с твоей видеокартой не должно быть 100-150 FPS.
В целом я тоже негодовал, что FPS мало. Да.
Ну там, наверное, не так сильно чувствуется, что прям очень мало FPS, как в PUBG, да?
Ну так давай поиграем. Че, ты скачал ее?
Не. Мы вчера просто пока играли с Артиксом, подумали, может сегодня зайти с тобой поиграть.
Ну пошли поиграем. Потому что одному это вообще жесть.
На этапе размышлений.
Ага. Не, поиграть зайти это не ошибка точно. Тем более новая игра в рамках нашей специализации.
they were worried about kind of their mental state, especially their IGL Lambu.
Наша специализация это жрать дерьмо от разработчиков, в смысле, ты про
We'll
это?
see if they're going to be able to get it together. They've had rough starts before and been able to recover, so you never know. And a knock on a kickstart from Batulins, two big name players there.
Yeah, that's going to follow up. Kickstart, I think, just got rezzed a second ago. I think that we all saw somebody on E United get knocked. They are in that middle position where everybody has vision on him. As you can see, Cerberus contending with FaZe with close range on this. FaZe does have the high ground advantage into it, so Highsaki is going to have to try to defend up for his team right now, as it looks like they're still trying to rotate through that.
Приятно видеть, что все команды, которые в итоге поехали, остались в финале. Каким-то образом.
В смысле поехали, остались в финале? Не понял.
Ну, прошли до
наши?
финала.
СНГшные?
Да.
Ну да.
Not being able to take good fights together, they didn't seem to be on the same page, but we've seen that change throughout this event. They've gotten better and better and better as this one has gone on.
And this is going to be a trying circle. There's a lot of field inside of it, specifically the area that's around where we see E United. We saw some rotations go through that one, so if we continue to see this center up, this is going to be very hard for a lot of
энтропиком на лицо или КДФом на лицо?
become a very mitigated problem. If we do see it lead north, we still have the South George area.
Походу КДФом, да, на лицо.
Everybody watching knows about South George because
Походу.
The EU team.
Yeah, welcome to South George. Well, South George is mostly leaving this circle, so that's not going to be too big of an issue. But the former thing you were talking about, the field, is a much bigger problem. So United has a great spot, in my opinion. That's one of my favorite spots to play from in a circle like this. The other direction I like to come from is from the east.
Владимир, а я что, я не понимаю, военком местный или чего? Типа, почему ты у меня спрашиваешь? Или мне сейчас надо открыть консультант, посмотреть судебную практику, изучить твой вопрос, отправь им почтой свои документы. В письменном виде с заявлением приложи и все. Если не хотят принимать. Нашел, блин, у кого спрашивать.
Вовремя подъехал, конечно.
Нет, матчей будет не 10, это точно. Матчей, наверное, будет 15. Потому что финал...
4 игровых дня.
4 игровых дня? То есть 17, 18, 19, 20 включительно, да? А, ну все. Так что 4 дня подряд мы будем с вами смотреть этот замечательный турнир, который... игра, которая становится интересна плюс-минус вот сейчас, кстати. Экватор, когда проходит. Донава уже отвалилась. А ТМА это что?
Китайские. Или не китайцы, ну короче.
Церберусы, конечно, слишком рано туда приехали. Зачем они это сделали? Типа зона еще такая огромная. Они едут в full open яму.
Там не яма даже, там граунд с одной стороны. Тут.
Ну да, граунд тачками.
При этом яма, которая напротив этих, как его...
Напротив Папича?
Фуловая.
А, напротив члена?
Да, на full free вообще.
Ну да, вот она была бы куда лучше. Тоже рано, но намного лучше, там хотя бы full safe.
Чисто в соляного тачки тут гоняет парням.
Заботливый.
О, КДФ и энтропики.
Ну просто посмотри, сколько мест. Нет, просто, блядь, посмотри, сколько мест, куда можно приехать. Это что за Я только... Если их там занесло, я не знаю, они врезались или им колеса сбили и так далее.
Самоосознанно они приезжали.
Ну как так можно было?
Exactly. All right, it's centering up again, and United is going to actually make a rotate in towards the center. Twisted Minds was on a pre-rotate. This is very Twisted Minds. Batulins loves to call these kind of plays. They're going to lose. Someone's going to lose a vehicle out there, but it's going to be a split here for Twisted Minds. They're kind of just.
Теперь они, кажется, на место этих серверсов станут.
Now there's a dip out here that can sort of work. It's a very narrow, not very deep dip. Twisted Minds going to find the water tower for themselves. A bunch of burning cars for safety.
Тоже будут рассыпать. Единственное, у них тут машин в 2 раза больше. Как же лут съели просто.
Там батут? Я не понял, что произошло. Он просто встопнул, вышел и ушел.
Там Маша сейчас на почте еле посылку получила. У нее же фамилию она сменила.
And Matulins is just trying to prone it out while the wild card team is kind of looped around the outside, the east of the hospital, and they do not see him at all. They walk right by him.
He's just laying. He's not even like crouched inside of it or anything. They just walked right over this one. This is gonna be one that Adam is going to go back and get so mad at watching. But Patulins with the 200 IQ hiding out right now. If he lets this go, Wildcard can move in front of him, defend it up, or he could just choose to backstab at any given time he wants to.
He's gonna wait this out as long as he probably can. But there is risk in that because if you're not gonna take like a guaranteed point or two here, maybe you know somebody just catches a glimpse of you. 17. Okay, they did find it. Yeah, like I just said.
Батулин в кустах лежал или что? Я упустил что-то.
Да, он там отдыхал.
За кого топишь? Так за наши команды, за кого? Блин, я не знаю, что у меня за зрители, которые постоянно, ну, которые не знают вообще, кто, как, куда, почему. Которые вообще не следят за компетитив пабгом, потом приходят из какого-то фига им становится интересно посмотреть. Вы чё, мужики? Команда Нави состоит из ребят из России практически полностью. Один из них из Грузии. Команда Question Mark состоит практически из ребят из России. Один из них казах. Команда Twice, которая сейчас на 16-й строчке, это бывшие NLT, бывшие Virtus.pro. Команда, которую подписали арабы. Арабская организация. Состоит из 3 игроков из России и 1 игрок из Украины. Еще вопросы? А кто наши? Dangerous, ты что, альтернативно одаренный, что ли? Я не понимаю.
Day trade 17, the expendables, and even Navi might get involved in this day trade. Still just trying to harass along this hill, but they're so hard to get any.
Тяжело сейчас NLT будет. Хотя тут все на краю заняты друг другом. Day trade looks like they're trying to step away from this, but that might put them right into Navi's sightlines as Puchil is going to take down 777.
Yeah, Puchil's there doing a good job. The IG out for Day trade, laying down some covering fire with that SKS. So that's going to be the go sign for 17. That knock gets them to throw out some utility.
Кроме Эрангеля и Мирамара карт не будет. Салам алейкум, Руслан. Здорово.
Just going to cut across TE territory and use this to gain some circle space.
That is an aggressive move right in front of them, but still not yet inside the safe zone. This is all about just trying to get a trap and finding an angle with that nade, narrowly missing.
Как же слабенько эти гранаты херачат.
Вторая хаешка бы взорвала full squad просто там.
Нифига себе они заезжают. То есть они просто заехали, никто их даже не это... А чем занимался Лошак?
Он, видишь, боится, потому что он думает, что на кавере на горе остался чел. Из-за этого он особо не пикал их, когда они приезжали.
Так на первом этаже его вообще никто не фокусит. Не может даже.
Я ожидал, что они на первый влетят прям.
Ну, Question Mark что-то полурублевую позицию занимают, блин. А, подожди, они под бочкой?
Just doing a phenomenal job of holding this up.
Yeah, so far the Freaks have been doing a great job. 17 senses weakness here in Twisted Mind.
Нихуя он от бедра пострелял.
Вот это было, конечно, мощно от бедра их. Тут уже целый замок соорудили нахрен. Молодцы ликвиды. Причем потеряли одного только? Или они и так втроем были?
Они вроде даже не теряли.
Нави хорошо. Отстрелялись. Что-то как-то Эдди неуверенно там пострелял, вышел.
Вам тут очень сложно будет выйти
да.
между двух складов.
Еще и не видно там.
Пойдешь на этих, убьют другие. У Нави пока неплохая там позиция, но уже ехать надо.
Какая зона, даже непонятно, где она будет, как она будет.
Ну, я, если честно, думал, она будет чуть-чуть правее. А тут она все равно аж до писюна дотрогала.
Энтропики аж прям вышли и начали ребят закидывать, нифига себе.
Сейчас призы должны под это заезжать, по идее, в них. По-хорошему, если бы они забирали.
Нейлоп видит, что Хае летит за него и убегает от нее. Ну, алкаш.
Weapon in the game. Aduzi spotted around the corner by example. Hay bales, all the cover that QM really has. Aduzi gets a knock on to Mel, though. Grenades in response. Could find the knock. No. Okay, the follow-up from example is good. It's just Hobbit's left. Nope, he is done. Example picks up another kill.
This might allow some type of pathing for Navi to move forward, but remember, they still have 17 that's just to the north of them. Could create its own problem. Hay bales are about to be the only cover to work around as we look at how this firefight's going to develop. Navi already getting some vision down that hillside into 17, and show is going to be flushed, but it's going to be taken by Jeeves.
Yeah, so 17 has been, very opportunistic so far in this game, but now they've gotten stuck on in a situation where they can't find an opening to really get aggressive. Navi hasn't taken much damage, if any, at all, so they can't really angle in that direction. EU being very tenacious in their center circle positions, as always, so far, nothing that 17 has been able to do to gain space. 18, oh my goodness, 2 on that spray.
Now trying to move into it. It's going to be Sales yet again that is holding the line. Navi has 2 of their members down, but they can crawl along this hillside. Digray looks like he's going to try to make a move into this, but it's still the example line. Trying to make sure to shoot them away. Spray's going to come out. He's going to go down. FaZe now moving in.
Жестко они разобрались тут.
That's a huge opening spray from 8C to break that fight wide open for FaZe. Yeah, they suffer some
knocks. Наши команды все по плаву поймали. Ну, энтропики хорошо сидят. Не, ну понятно. Ну, единственное, у НЛТ было такое себе, знаешь, тоже по мувменту.
Vex has a little bit of high ground over the over-peakers who are trying to smoke their way through. It looks like they're going to set up for a UAS push here and try to find just a little bit of space on this edge.
We technically have 4 EU teams that are coming in here, 3 that qualified off of making their way through the
Блин, тачка укатилась.
So now it's going to be about how 17 Gaming can hold this. Diggory is going to go down. That nade should just finish it off. 17 do have good vision into over-peakers as well. So while there are technically 3 EU teams and EU United, it does look like 17's got the vision.
Yeah, 17 here just doing a great job. You know, they lost one, they lost show early, but now they've gained enough space. FaZe and Navi destroyed each other enough that they're able to.
А где энтропики чувака потеряли? Когда выходили на EU?
Когда выходили на EU.
You know, Entropic still has 3 up. They still have a little bit of the circle. United is bunched up. If there's any frags that come their way, it could be potentially dangerous. If they are.
Что-то мне кажется, корейцы выиграют эту игру.
So far, you know, every time Entropic has tried, they've been swatted away.
It's kind of wild that.
Не знаю, если энтропики все сделают нормально, то они, по идее, спокойно убивают, выходят из этой ямы, и потом с граундов делают, что хотят. Когда остаются одни на этой стороне.
Ну, что значит все нормально? 3-3 без потерь подраться, но когда их, вон, Фекс еще смотрит, я не знаю, будет он стрелять или нет.
Не надо драться, тут 2 хая кинул, они упали.
That totally turns up and allows 17 Gaming to do something, but if they lean into the south, that might draw 17's attention and allow EU United to make a move.
Well, they're going to kind of try to share this dip with United. This dip right here is one of the few playable ones out in this part of the map, so a priority position for sure, especially in the late game for both teams, for Entropic and United, and they know it, and that's why they're, you know, fighting so hard as you're talking about, really doing a great job holding on to it because they know they need to. Meanwhile, Vard has a few vehicles here and there for cover, whether they be, you know, parts of the map like that van or you know, ones that are spawned vehicles. Smokes are going to come out. He's probably got a few extra there with his teammates' loot crates on the ground, and he's going to create that you know, that ever-present smoke wall that we all see, we all know, we all love.
All right, Vard, how much of this opening ceremony did you watch? Do you got the dance moves to try to make your way through this one? Shots are going to come through the smoke, nothing really connecting yet. His sightlines are going to be moving in the direction of E United, but it is just a slow crawl forward into this one. Smokes are going to continue to stay up, but it's all about creeping through. He wants to make sure as he's going for these peaks, doesn't get spotted out, but that is a lot of damage coming out. Can he continue to move forward? Nades are going to land E United side, but they're not going to connect, not even really do any damage. So while he is making a path into this, it's only opening the doors for Entropic, who now moved closer. QBE's nade looks like it's going to go get some damage onto this, and now it's E United.
E United doing a great job spreading out, avoiding a lot of that damage from both sides so far, but the Molly, more frags, that's a good one right in the back of Kickstart from Vard. This might just break E United's back as you still have Entropic coming through. Vard finds another good one. It's only Snakers left.
Yeah, Molotov's going to go ahead and finish out one, and Overpeaker says, hey, thanks, Vard. We appreciate all of that, but we're going to go ahead and take the kill point off of it. Now Snakers holding the line in. It's going to be Fex that gets spotted out as well. And it looks
видишь, а ты переживал, что нужно будет подраться.
United is going to go down as well.
Well, 17 has circle priority position. They may
Ну
just
все, я же говорю, корейцы выиграют.
on Erangel throughout this event, throughout this year, and they need to find a big gain here to start this event.
А Фекса кто убил?
I tell you what, it's looking pretty good in terms of their positioning. They're fanning out. Little Ghost on the edge.
Подожди, Фекса?
Down below. Little Ghost.
Да,
он
он сидел под 17
Now they have the Haybell controlled. They've already got some vision in. EIQ is going to have to move into the circle into very visible sight lines.
Ну если один ног дать по 17-м, они посыпятся.
Wants to open up something, but I really like how we see 17 have laid this out. They've got so many different firing angles. Nalov really can't do anything on one side of it, but Little Ghost can actually make some plays on any approach over here.
And look at this, 6 kills already for Little Ghost. This guy has been absolutely insane for 17 throughout this event. Suju now going to line up for a grenade. He's going to see QBs and Luca Rux. That one's going to go a little bit far. The follow-up is good from Xiao Wu, though, as Luca Rux down to just 18 health, making none as he's going to be knocked. And now 17 looks to try to box EIQ out.
QBE is trying to make something happen into the west. Nalov can't even get inside of this. We're trying to go for some shots in, but it's going to be QBE lining up against Little Ghost. If he can win this, he has an opportunity, but Little Ghost has just been ripping teams apart. Looking in, QBE does have the better of that trade, and now creeps back into the smoke, seeing if maybe he can be enough of a distraction to allow Nalov to sneak around into a new angle, but Little Ghost knows exactly the approach QBE is wanting to take, and just drops a nade on him.
You can see that 17 is really keen on making sure a res didn't come through, and the follow-up knock makes this really challenging. Nalop out in the open, Nalop gone, and it's going to be 17 Gaming that takes the first game here at the 2022 PGC.
Oh, crowds like that when you can hear the audience coming alive for it, and you said it. Little Ghost has just been wild this event.
He's insane. I mean, he's playing the best PUBG.
Как только наши команды умирают, интерес к турниру снижается сразу.
Has been an absolute pleasure to watch.
Coming in, picking up this first game also provides a ton of momentum moving in. And you know, China didn't have the best run through the losers bracket, so 17 coming up, having themselves a strong showing here also gives them some regional love.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, they continue to be amazing on Erangel. The real question for me for 17, if they're going to be a real threat to win this event,
это корейцы.
Just pick it up on Miramar. They've been phenomenal on Erangel all throughout this event, all throughout PCS 7 Asia. Now we need to see this success translate onto both maps.
На самом деле, внешне китайцы и корейцы очень сильно отличаются.
Getting second in the first game, you can see the fact that they wanted that win, but that still should feel pretty good as well.
Вот это...
I mean, they got to feel pretty good about how they played that. It was safe, it was disciplined. They didn't
Это
really
китайцы или корейцы
any
сейчас были?
mistakes against United. They just kind of
Погоди, или это тайцы были?
until eventually United broke because Bard came in and opened up the door for EIQ.
Well, the last game was a story.
Что за команда была?
Trying to navigate a difficult situation. Well, we got 3 guys that are great at navigating difficult situations.
Не, я про Яху.
One chicken dinner, 4 men, 11 kills, and Team 17 comes out with the first win of the grand finals. And gentlemen, both of you predicted them having a strong day. Is this exactly what you expected? I would say the way that they pushed into the field early, I was a little worried. They find themselves in between day trade and another team towards the north side. I thought they were going to get completely dumpstered there. But then you see would fully commit to the early rotation, and they were just fighting their way through the field from start to finish. You see it here as well. The way that they just full commit, pull up on Twisted Minds. They needed to do so in order to stay alive.
This is a hard-fought win. Like they literally started.
Лак Китая, подожди, 17 гейминг, по-моему, корейцы.
All the way through. Then of course, when you have a gamer like Lil Ghost just cleaning up everything, then it's not that hard to win a game like this.
It was a difficult game to be sure to start off.
Блин, 17 гейминг, реально китайцы. What the fuck? Я ж там сижу и что-то...
Is this a good way to warm up for the start of this thing? I think if you're looking to be fragging all tournament long, but 17 gaming sure is.
А что-то я все время думал, что 17 гейминг это корейцы.
That's why you see by the end of it, what they have left is lethal utility.
А это китайцы, оказывается.
They all deployed smokes instantly to try and stay put, but none of those teams actually ever got into fights of their own. So they had utility for days come the end of the game.
It's insane. Like you see him first whip out a 3x barrel spray, and then you have a nade that's literally on point, cooked to the perfection. It's just insane, and this is why, you know, 17
Нет, нет. Когда я на чуваков посмотрел, я сразу, ну, как бы понял, что это не корейцы, но... но я просто уже пару лет думаю, что 17 гейминг это корейцы. Даже не помню почему. Ну, может быть, какой-то этот... Что-то не срослось. Какую аналитику ты хочешь получить? Крендель, а? Одни и те же зоны, предсказуемые проки, предсказуемо, как команды, какая команда выиграет, какая нет, по крайней мере в этой игре. Что тут анализировать? Не могу понять. Еще до смерти команды ИУ я сказал, что 17 гейминг выиграют, потому что, на мой взгляд, позиция была самая отличная и удачная.
Was in Tropic and how they handled that whole deal with United. They did some stab pushes, some backoffs. It was beautiful. I mean, United literally qualified through here at the very last chance of going into it, and they played with confidence. This one, as you're saying, most teams in that come towards the west side would sit there all game long, and then in the end of it, they would get trapped in there. But they were constantly out to push people to apply pressure, then back and forth all the time.
This is the Tropic that plays without pressure. Now they're in the grand final, they can play like they want.
Yeah. Let's take a look at the match leaderboard. 17 Gaming starts off with a whopping 21 out of the gate. And what you're also going to notice is that 3 and 4, two teams who weren't in that top 5, found points when they needed to. Overpeakers and Navi with 8 kills apiece.
Yeah, honestly, in this situation here, I'm just looking at double digits. I'm also looking at 3 European teams here that are able to step in. I'm like, okay, this is kind of great. It's also good circles for them. They're in a good spot. They fought their way in. And they already, in the first circle, took some high priority spot and managed to lock them down.
3 of 6 top teams. I know we're one game in. We can't take too much away from it. But 3 of top 6 teams are Grand Survival teams. Speaking of teams that want to get off to a good start, they want to turn the momentum around, saying we didn't want to focus on Grand Survival. Now we're here. We got to be good from the start. Well, they sure as hell showed that. Maybe there's something to be said for coming in hot and getting a little bit of that extra training time. Let's take a look at the winner team focus here. 11 total kills and the lion's share going to Lil Ghost.
Yeah, he is honestly one of the best players in the world right now from what we've seen from him. He's here, he's on land, he's been performing in multiple stages, and now here in the grand finals, he's dropping 8 kills from the start. That's just insane.
Надеюсь, перерывы в финале будут небольшие. На кого купон ставить? Так, скорее всего, уже нельзя ставить купон. Скуп, можно еще купоны ставить? Пёс, а купоны еще можно ставить или нет уже? Синыч. Твариныч. Довольные сидят 17 гейминг, игру выиграли. Сегодня фактически последний день голосования, да? Я, кстати, тогда пойду купоны поставлю, чё?
I want to give a big shout out to Entropic here because remember, this is
Да я купоны не поставил ни на кого.
they've come together. They believe that they've got what it takes to not only do well here, but sort of lead the charge.
Можно вопрос, ну зачем тебе их ставить?
Да просто так. Ля там у чувака руки волосатые были, ё-моё.
And you know what? Let's see if they can keep it going. It is time right now for
А,
game
второй
number
матч
2 of the
начался.
grand finals. Let's get into it.
Okay, Paper, I take it back. Maybe I do want Corey games again. If I have to choose between a field and Corey, dude, I'm gonna take Corey.
Yeah, we take Corey over that. I mean, the field ending.
Ладно, чатик, в следующий перерыв поставим.
I mean, again, you know, out in the open, team gaming is just
Да
something special on
блин.
Erangel. They really know how to navigate their space, when to take their fights. I mean, their timings are so impeccable. You know, the shot calling between Lil Ghost and Suju, they kind of share the.
А, ТМА это эти... Ксяо, Юпи, блин. Понятно. А Нави по торнадо сплитится еще или нет?
Ну да. Это их же сплит, они и сплитятся.
Ну я и говорю, они так и играют его.
Ну да.
Зрителям нужна помощь, чтобы определиться с голосованием. Я же говорю, тут нет явного фаворита, нет явного лидера, который трахает все. Секундочку, у меня женщина приперлась.
Should have the run over. Oh, he only got half health.
Now we gotta juke it around. Oh, trying to get away. Salute might have the lineup. Nice dancing coming out from Spyro. Can he get away? And yeah, it looks like he's gonna get to the shack. And guess what? We finally get to go to the east.
Yeah, you only got a few seconds there as Salute before, you know, somebody's maybe gonna have a gun and start shooting at you and drive at you. In this case, Soul actually found a 4X and an M16 for the side of Donovan. He gets the knock on a Spyro. Phenomenal shooting from Soul.
Soul is just shutting down this, saying, no, this is our car. I'm getting really tired of having to deal with anything that's going on here. And Spyro just gonna crawl away, but there's nothing else that's gonna be had out of it as Salute wants to make sure that this one gets flushed out.
Yep, he's got a barrel in hand, but he's just gonna drive over to make sure it is done and dusted. Indeed, a nice little start here for Donowa. Again, control over these vehicles around this area, so important for both teams. And right now, Donowa has the upper hand. Lou looking for a little bit of damage with the pizza gun, but it is not gonna be found. I forgot what I was talking about a minute ago. I wanted to talk about something, and then that fight happened. I'm like, dang it! I had a point to make. All right, we've got an interview, so let's take a listen in.
As a coach, I'm pretty confident in my guys, and today, like, first 2 games just show up, like, everything is great. I was pretty confident in my guys. Any player in PUBG wants to win, like, this global championship, and that's it. You just want to win. I don't know how it works like in our team, but our team, like, every player does the same, like 25% of everything. So yeah, we pretty good as a team. Me personally think like we're a best team in this. So yeah, guys, just don't overthink yourself. You are pretty strong. Like, you're strong enough to win this global tournament. Just be confident, and you're gonna win this easily.
That's the name of the game in PUBG, right? You always hear, play our own game. We don't care what the other teams are doing. Come in with confidence because that will lead into your playmaking capabilities. But 3 of the 4 can try to take that advice to heart this game.
Absolutely, absolutely. It wasn't the best start, but, you know, there's still confidence to be found on Twisted Minds. They're one of the best at, you know, managing their space, playing safe, making good decisions. You know, everybody knows it. We've seen it over the last couple of years. Huge kill numbers there for Lil Ghost. I mean, 8 kills in the first game.
The first game, that is just mind-blowing. If he can continue this is... congratulations to whoever picked up Lil Ghost on your fantasy team.
Also, if Example could calm down a little bit. No, I mean, I want to see him do really well, but he has been absolutely nuts this tournament. Just absolutely incredible. And the only reason I say that is because a bunch of other casters have him on their fantasy team, and it makes me a little bit jealous.
Martin over there is punching desks because he picked up Show.
I did too. I have Show. And okay, that was the point I wanted to make. Thank you for doing that. You read my mind.
We got the same brain cell. Let's go.
Микрофончик пришел.
So this could very well be his last event, and he has been one of the all-stars of, you know, PUBG esports ever since he's been in. And, you know, he's just incredible, but he's had some medical issues and he might be hanging it up. But we do have, I think we have some watch parties going on around the world. Some really interesting stuff indeed.
Hey.
That one's in my hometown, Cheongdam, Seoul.
What's going on? We're going to be bouncing around all over the place.
Вау, целый человек умер, пока меня не было. Ё-моё. А, еще из НЛТ. Вот это не очень приятно. Конечно. Так.
Definitely exciting to see everybody supporting their favorite team, supporting PUBG esports. Wow, that guy in front, he's really.
Это где у них пати?
You got control over your car now. I don't think Twisted Mind's going for it. You cheer more.
I love it. That guy, hey, I mean, hey, I'm all about it. Like, the more energy you can give us, the better.
I make jokes about that, but that is actually a big deal. Like, securing those vehicles at this stage and being as punishing as that really sets a theme for what's going to be happening later on. I mean, we do have 4 days that we're going to be moving through this one, but any early advantage that you can get now that could have a ripple effect into the later rounds, even if it's just a car, even if it's just a building, or just getting somebody to stop peeking a direction, can have massive influence on later circles.
And it's not just in terms of obviously the vehicles having those super useful to make your rotations and do very important things that need to be done in PUBG esports, but beyond that, there's a mental aspect too, right? Like, you're losing that fight for that thing. That kind of gets in your head a little bit. I mean, I think back to, you know, 4 a.m. In previous years in PCS Asia's where they haven't been able to control that space.
Надо подключить, оценить
just one game.
звук микрофона.
Anything about a team refusing to give up space.
What do you mean?
Never happened to us and across several teams internationally. That's okay then. We do have overpeakers that are going to be making their rotation. This is we still have the eastern bridge that is coming out of Military Base Island.
Скуп, что не комментируешь людям?
Most of our teams also coming in around that like crossroads location around shelter. It's nothing too crazy, but we do kind of have a stack that's starting to build up over on that eastern bridge.
Yeah, that's a really good point. You see TMA that's stuck there ahead of the Freaks, who are stuck there between FaZe and Cerberus, and so it's, you know, it's the domino effect.
Yeah, I mean, we do have Cerberus that's kind of stretched into farm, as you can see over there, but Freaks holding down this position has made TMA's life much harder than I think that they were wanting to do. Down to the southwest, which could put them onto Cerberus instead.
Как с американского радио какого-то.
This is a place that they know everything about here, so they just moved forward and kind of shimmied up against that centered wall to get it some more attention, but not too many other firefights that are breaking out just yet.
Не буду заниматься микрофоном пока. Нафиг.
Teams are going to be rotating
Запутался только в проводах, блин.
Because with the way we see that, we don't have a full center up just due to how the circle is lined with the canal running through.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, everybody's kind of guessing that this one's going to be closer to the channel than not, just because of the fact that it's a little bit southern shifted. So you kind of just learn over time that circles tend to drift in a certain direction or another based on how into the water they're shifted. You know, it makes it a little more likely that the circle is going to end somewhat closer to the water than not, and so teams start gambling on it, as you should. You got to play the percentages. That's a big part of PUBG esports. Is, you know, sometimes you got to gamble. Sometimes you got to play. You know, even if it's a 2% benefit, you know, you got to play that extra 2%.
And sometimes just leaning into what you feel in the circle. I know it's dumb, but some players really, some of the IGLs really do that. They know the fact that the math goes certain ways, but
у нас с вами 9-я минута. Команды рассосались по карте. Ничего интересного не происходит. Бедолага тут от Донавы выхватил один выстрел. Так, как эта команда называется? Это Wildcard? Как они вообще прошли тоже? Отвратительно, по-моему, играли. Столько всего интересного узнаешь, когда пропустил между групповыми этапами и сеткой винеров, 2 сетки лузеров там, и Last Chance.
You know, just in the water there, but I think this might be a fight brewing. It may take a little while to boil.
Адос без колеса остался.
That neither one of them wants to be in right now, while Danawa does have some supervision in it. So they are going to be forced to at least kind of stop where they're at. This is not a comfort spot by any means. This is more just a symptom of the circle and where people.
Как нет фаворита? Ты отборочные смотрел? Конечно, смотрел. Но я не считаю, что Нави какой-то фаворит. Если ты про Нави говоришь.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, trying to get center, trying to take control of the priority compounds as best you can, but it's only circle one, so you know a lot of teams are going to go for.
Ты ПКС смотрел, нет?
Крендель. It's all about safety and it's all about comfort and you know doing the homework on what the other teams do on these circles, how they like to approach it, what you're going to be allowed to get away with, what you're not.
Так
что everybody so far has
что
done pretty well on their homework. I think everything's been pretty, you know, hunky-dory in the first circle, both games. So clearly nobody's willing to take any risks, do anything on a little bit unexpected. But with looking at this lobby, looking at the teams that are in it, Matt, I wasn't really expecting too much craziness.
Not at the start. Nobody needs to go wild at the very beginning. Instead, you play systematic at the start. Don't do anything too crazy. It's almost like you were talking about. Lean into the coast. Benefit's going to come in. Northern team, specifically Daniel, while already moving, is going to allow wildcard QM to now make their rotation, and we still have Death Road in there, so there's still actually capabilities for all of these teams to sneak in.
Yeah, this gets tough because there's that area between
Слава
farm
яйкам.
and kind of where Day Trade and Navi are here on our
Нави
screen.
приехали на Змейку в Киткат на 4 машинах, которые сверху им похерят, блин, что-то они там это...
Это нормально они приехали.
Фейзы очень любят вот сюда на ферму заезжать прям. Не первый раз уже вижу, как они прям туда ломятся.
Так они и так много оттуда выигрывали.
Ну, много выигранных каток я не помню, а вот то, что они туда заезжают частенько, это я помню.
Флажка нокнули. Капец он лошок. Помнишь, как Фекс вот так вот подъезжает и лежит под забором?
Слушай, у меня память плохая, знаешь. А чё, почему он лежал?
Приехал, страшно было.
Церберусы в прошлый сдохли, как Валентины. Надеюсь, в это они нормально подерутся с фейзами. Хотя Хай сейчас умирает. Походу, ненормально.
You're losing that kind of front line position that allows FaZe to take more space, take control of this two-story building. It gives them a lot more room to maneuver. Himas as well, now healing as he has been beat up. He gets the full.
Там Солози такой, парни, но это под крипы нет, но вы держитесь.
Still looming on this edge. The superstar, the young gun from Vietnam, has been an absolute phenom this event.
Чепух-пати где? Чепух-пати на комментаторах получается.
I love the way you say that. Tactical, absolutely. This team is, again, probably maybe the most experienced. If them and Navi are really up there in terms of players who have been doing it almost since the beginning of PUBG esports, and they're absolutely wonderful to watch. Yeah, Balefrost, why not? Hey, it's open.
It's mine
now. Doors open.
Yeah.
Come on in.
Yeah, it's mine. Thanks, FaZe. We appreciate it.
Balefrost просто приехал такой, ну теперь моё будет.
Ну да, пацаны, вот чё они сели? Вот чё сели? И как теперь разыгрывать дальше?
Теперь еще в спину мешать будут.
Это просто вообще трэш.
We see it time and time again because there's so many angles to get grenades into the warehouses, to shoot into the warehouses, things like that. It makes them tricky positions to defend if you're stuck on the inside of them.
Вот, и жаловался, что Нави приехали как-то не так.
Ну, в один дом вчетвером, все тачки в одной куче, конечно.
Нормальный дом.
Ну, сейчас нормальный дом пока. пока что. Ну, следующая зона от воды. И, походу, нормальный дом будет. Но если только не будет хардшифта лево-право.
Вот я бы полутал, кстати, там фри весьма дроббыл.
Энтропики что, умирать поехали или как? А, Дэй отдают.
Аля хелпует.
Yeah, great angle there from Nurin. Should be able to finish that with the molly. It lands on a QB. The shots as well. Gonna be a point in
Ну,
the
энтропики приехали, конечно.
Guangdong freaks on the beach rotation. TMA is right here though. Crazy and Yuppie. They're gonna start spraying right away. Lash takes a bunch of damage. He is gone. EN though, and the rest of them coming. What a spray from Crazy.
Crazy doing a great job here. He
Ничего они даже не почувствовали, что
да,
кто-то
вообще
приехал
просто не
вдвоем.
почувствовали. Просто идеально сыграно было.
All right, Nurin's now still being an absolute thorn in the side of Entropic, catching members as they cross the door there. Lucarux thinking about going for the
right.
That was his last one.
Вот это фейл. Все-таки решил подкрепить пацанов. Диггери даже не подожгло. Понимаю. Ну и хуй их тут еще и зафармить должны все. Фейзы. Посидели, пацаны. Смотри, Нави прям это почувствовали. Ну, Билмот вообще отлично сел. Крышует свою хату.
And the walls around it do allow you to get far closer, but you can see day trade.
Вот эти, ох уж эти вайл-карты. Слушай, так он еще сейчас подловить может. Алю на отходе. Думаешь, каверит? Ну, не знаю. Ну да, он там пул камнем сидит. Ликвиды аккуратненько заезжают, у них там еще и спокойно есть варианты, как уезжать.
По берегу-то только там некуда особо, кроме ямы в поле.
Ну там куча мест на самом деле, где еще под будкой. Ну, только не сейчас. Ну, давайте ликвиды, прямо в змейку.
Ну и сидят вообще идеально.
Ну, КМы сейчас будут с этими, с НЛТ файтиться, походу.
Их вот такие, ну все, фейзы, мы у вас посидели, погостили, пошли мы отсюда.
Вот Донава точно корейцы.
Usually you can look down from this road down into the low ground where all the other fighting is going to be going on, but there's also several teams can kind of hold up in this point.
Someone call Quentin Tarantino. We need to make a movie up here because this one's going to get spicy for sure. This is you know, Yahoo is a really difficult position. Twisted Minds is kind of up on the edge as well on the northern side, trying to find a way to get into this. QM is barricading Twisted Minds for all intents and purposes. Cerberus still has to find some safety themselves. TMA, OP.
Текст там неплохо в будке сгорел.
Might be kind of two battles brewing here in this phase 4 circle.
Sorry, I was distracted by watching FaZe get hotboxed down.
Посмотри, как АФК сидит, даже не пикает, чисто ждет на молик. Куда они едут, вот вопрос. Просто, пацаны, куда вы ехали? Какой был план? Поедем куда-нибудь, может быть, не убьют? Ну, Поцик тут поживет секунд еще, там, я не знаю, 40, 50.
Смотри, сколько смоков.
Car explodes not in a favorable direction at all for Duck Juice.
There was a little bit of a dip, he might be able to hide down in there. We'll have to see if he can cling to life as now Yoho moving forward. Punage going to go ahead and drop the nade in. Going to take a face full of shots. That nade's going to go just too far, though, so Helen's not going to go down. Dano is still going to continue.
А как они про него узнали?
Twisted Mind here. This Belfrost going to go ahead and hop in a vehicle and be running right next to where we see Twisted Mind set up. Another nade's going to be popped. Shot's going to come out. Belfrost with a nice drive-by.
Yeah, Batulins, I think, expected them to pull up a little bit sooner. Now it's Soul and Salute, the dynamic duo for Donawa, lighting up OP onto the way in. And they
Донаwa отлично ликвидов закрыли
Без
просто.
у них прицел клеится четко прямо, ну типа.
Клеится четко.
Ну нет такого, что знаешь, там болтает из стороны в сторону.
Это потому что спектатор здесь не всегда. Когда ты в спектаторе смотришь, там кажется, что...
Нет, это понятно, но все равно типа можно понять по спектатору, что более-менее нормально. Ну они же играют типа с низким DPI, поэтому у них нет такого, что прицел резко может куда-то тернуть там прям.
А при чем тут DPI вообще?
Ну, потому что с высоким более это, контроль трясет пушку.
Так а при чем именно тут DPI-то, если ты с инцом это все в совокупности параметров ты
ну,
это
с инцу
регулируешь?
DPI это имею в виду все вместе, типа под DPI. Низким с инцом, в смысле, если тебе так будет проще.
Вот так, правильно.
How difficult this circle is to play from the open space again in between the farm and the compound where Navi and Day Trade are. That's a pretty solid game for United. Honestly, that's a really good effort.
While this is going on, I can see that QM is now moving more into Danawa's direction. Who have still just done a great job on holding this hillside. Like, out of all the areas in Death Road, it feels like where we see Danawa playing at is often the strongest and just has the most capabilities of defending from all the other directions.
Lambo's got to be so careful with this hill angle. He's going to be exposed in a second. Well, actually, it's Soul and Salute on the other side. They get spotted out first. The return fire is good to do a little bit of damage to back him up. Dante now going to start letting loose with the grenades, but he finds one
Ну,
right
КМов тяжелое время началось.
quite a bit of damage. Doozy holding the angle. Lambo, that's what I'm talking about. You got to be careful there.
Doesn't get the down on him. You can see Hobbits is also going to come into the
Сейчас Сил взорвется. Не,
Lou
отошел.
is still alive for Twisted Minds, way out there watching all this and might be able to backstab. Dana was still just trying to defend up as Helen.
Вот у Сеула болтается прицел, как у алкаша.
Onto this, and he's trying to hold the wall up against QM and their approach. Separated out, but he is the defending line, playing along this line right now. It is going to be Dante that goes down. Can Danawa find another way to exploit this?
Yeah, a Doozy trying to reinforce their fallen comrades. Stuns are coming out though.
Как же корейцы давят, ты посмотри, как они давят их. Они ничего не могут. Просто видно, насколько неуверены КМы вот в этой ситуации конкретно. Просто корейцы душат люто. КМы даже ног не дали, ты понимаешь? Я вообще в шоке.
Wildcard managed to find an angle to work with as Lou is also going to go out.
That might have just given Wildcard the opportunity to really put the dagger into Donawa. Just Soul left, spraying over the top of the hill does quite a bit of damage, looking for the finish on the Greg shot. Gonna find the point, at least 12 kills for Donawa. 10 in the bag for Soul. He is having a marvelous game.
Донаwa десятку настреляли уже. Ой, сейчас хорошая. Нет, не хорошая. Я думал, подольше подержал.
Wildcard still moving in. He is committing to this res. Full on does not even care. Should hear the footsteps coming in. Teammates getting flushed out. Can he make another miracle happen as Wildcard is moving directly into it? Tries for it, but he is going to go down.
Она ведь что, на обеду?
There's a lot going on in it, but one of the big things he does is he's able to control that ridge line. He spots one at the tree. He spots
машины им понадобятся, там плакал сидел.
Slute's able to lock down the flank. He gets the player at the tree.
Им дай бог из дома понадобится выйти.
I mean, smiles all around. I mean, that's still a good game.
На какой зоне они приехали? На второй или на первой?
Первые они наверху стоят.
Понимаю.
This is a hard area to try to hold your life into, especially with the amount of firefighting that's been going on. But since so much of the fighting happened on the northern part of this hill, they've just managed to kind of find their way in here and just hold up.
Батулин и Ког где? В лобби уже.
Yeah, no, yeah. Again, astounded that they're still alive.
Yeah, it's an impressive effort. I mean, we've been watching a lot of other fights go on.
Не, ну так все умеют выигрывать, когда на тебя зона прокает 5 раз подряд. Как бы тут, извини меня.
О, тут неплохая позиция для 17, кстати.
Неплохо для Нави, я считаю.
Легкие фраги.
They have a fortress that can kind of look around at everything that's going to be going on. They still
Какой план на дальнейшие действия, ребят?
В смысле, заехали, чилим.
It doesn't look like it's going anywhere anytime soon. So Navi is just going to go ahead and focus in on 17, making sure nothing crazy goes on with them as Wildcard still.
А вайлдкарты сверху сейчас им наподдают.
I mean, like they're just causing too much of a ruckus down there. It's going to have to be a team likely from the south that is going to kind of displace Navi if anyone's going to be able to do it. But the problem is there's two nearly, full force teams, of course, and lost a player, but they trade at 4.
Зачем он вообще им на этой платошке нужен, этот смог?
I also want to point out, Flood is still alive and hiding out on this eastern circle.
He's vibing.
То есть,
ну зачем вниз съезжать?
Я тоже не понимаю.
Блядь, у вас деревья на склоне закрывают вас от всех. Вы съезжаете вниз, чтобы было видно всем.
Я тоже не понимаю, что за прикол.
Ну да, стоит там машина, блядь, ну чем она тебе поможет?
Yeah, he'll go down to 1 HP. He has to really make sure that he doesn't give anything away, because the next bullet will get the knock onto him. Looks like he's got the first aid kit off, so back up to a reasonable amount of health. Suju as well, taking some damage. Xiaowu prone behind the tree. So 17 playing for placement. Usually they're pretty.
Просто один Адам стал как человек нормально.
Good choice there.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Really, everybody that is on the hillside, 17 wildcard, Cerberus, and even Flood, are hoping that Day Trade and Tropic do
У него еще и
something
машина даже
around
живая,
Navi
ну
to
чисто
distract
как
them,
бы.
or maybe at some
Я
point
тоже не
Navi
понял, я
can
даже не понял, нахера они туда смоки выкидывали.
The hillside woes are going to continue as Navi has the control point of all control points.
Так, но яйки умирают. 17-е тоже. Вайлдкарды тоже. Дейтрейды топ-1, Нави топ-2, Юшник топ-3.
Че думаешь, что Нави топ-2? Я думаю, Нави спокойно топ-1 забирают. У них спокойно, у них лютая проходка под будку через там справа от Гарика. Юшник будет чилить.
Слишком легкая игра для Нави. Они слишком легкую могут закинуть.
They're just trying to find something. Adam is going to go down, and yeah, there you go. Wildcard is going to get eliminated.
Yeah, good shooting here from the surviving two members of 17, and
you've been seeing Cerberus.
На нахер.
Down with a headshot from the mini.
I mean, if you're going to try to make a move, this is going to be.
Сейчас как энтропики возьмут и зафармят Дэй.
Как же они фармят Дэй?
Что-то приснилось, походу. Найская опять. О, попал.
Там еще украли фраг.
О, это хорошо, Айвас.
Хорошо, сейчас зону так выдавливает.
Юшник-то сдох.
Как он сдох?
Наверное, от Церберусов. А, нет, там там D1 играет широко. И вот он уже вышел на электровышку, чтобы контролить Навей. Ну да, Нави зажат. Ну, у Нави есть 4 тачки, типа. Я думаю, что углы спокойно, да. И граунд есть, и будка. И... Ну, вот этот флеш, он хорошо контролит сейчас. Вопрос в том, как хорошо он отыграет.
Неплохо отыграл, брат.
Это было хорошо, да.
Чисто самая важная позиция в игре, парень.
Ну тут как бы все. Если Нави поймут, что трое справа, то...
Ой-ой-ой. Вот и закидочная пошла.
Да не, там посмотри два нога, как у них. Третий поехал. К ним третий поехал.
Не, ну вот это... Чьи-то он рейсит.
Looking to get the res onto Uba while
Вообще,
Daytrade
да,
goes
выглядит
for the
как
res onto their
Нави
IGL
все-таки
Puchils.
выиграют.
Да, они намного увереннее контролируют.
He got some info.
Контролируют. На нахер.
Ну там этот клоун, блядь, ошибся. Соло закинул файт.
Дэй? Флэш?
На флеше, который, да.
Его еще, кстати, не добили. Если его сейчас резнут, я вообще офигею. Его резают? Офигеть!
Ну их зона давит уже. Им выходить в опен, там с крыши Аля все видит.
Там Мелман. А, нет, Аля.
Плюс экзампл уже под ними, прям под граундом. Ля какая хае.
Уже выглядит как дерьмо. Уже под этой будкой они там не очень хорошо выглядят.
Вообще им можно дождаться, когда выдавит крышу. Как только выдавливает крышу, они могут спуститься, но их еще раньше выдавливают.
Manages to hold it out. That rock provides cover, but it also means it's a choke point. Nurens looks up, realizing the fact that pathing into this is so hard. Belmont needs to take down
Аля ошибется и... Ой, экзампл ошибся.
Moving forward, Daytrade with still 3 members up. Only 1 member on the other side. Daytrade takes...
Да ё-моё!
Huge performance there from Daytrade, and the double push at the end to secure the center of the circle was so well done. It looks like Na'Vi might have had Daytrade barricaded out, but at the last moment, they snap their fingers, they come through, take 2 down, and take the game.
Oh man, that was so. Think about how long they were having to deal with Tropic right next to them. They moved in. They were hanging out with Na'Vi for like what? I would say at least a good 15 minutes.
It was a long time.
And this is finally coming to a head. I thought that example playing that position forward, he was going to be able to hold it, but it was just...
Я пошел втыкать микрофончик, хочу послушать звук.
Да, ты его втыкать будешь.
The timing there is so crucial there for Daytrade. The fact that they come at the same kind of, momentum, the same timing, beautiful stuff. And speaking of beautiful stuff, guys, our desk, it's their turn. You gotta tell us about that last game.
Happy to do so, Paper Thin, and I gotta be honest, I love when he calls us beautiful. But it was a great game, an amazing end of the match that honestly saw us literally counting ammunition to see who comes out on top, but Daytrade is here in a big way as they take home that win.
It's rare that you have the two teams that have sat in the compound quite literally the entire game without getting pulled up on, get to also brawl it out.
Тебе в очко, Скуби. Так, у меня звук пропал. Чат, у вас звук не пропал? Раз. Че звук-то пропал? Нафиг. Так, теперь надо подключить микрофон в ОБС-ку, чтобы... И сам я хочу послушать его, как он звучит. Так, это сюда. Раз. Нормально слышно? Раз. Так, слышно нормально вроде. Раз. Как его погромче сделать? Походу, я обратно потише сделал. Ну что по звуку? Вам какой? Новый же микрофон слышно? Чат. Или вам слышно то же, что и слушаю я? То есть у вас вдвойне звук, нет? Там какие-то перепады я еще вижу по звуку. Блин, может послушать просто? Звук не пропал? Раз. Че звук-то пропал? Нафиг. Чат. Или вам слышно то же, что и слушаю я? То есть у вас... С того микрофона такой звук приглушенный, да? Как будто... Ну, я фиг знает. Как будто надо на него... Как будто какой-то он не сочный. Вот я сейчас со старого микрофона говорю. Новый микрофон. И звук такой... Приглушенный какой-то, я не знаю, да? В него надо четко говорить. И типа, если я к камере буду разворачиваться... Не знаю. Какой больше нравится? Вот это звук старого микрофона. Звук нового микрофона. А? Блин, 100 человек сидит. Давайте разбираться. Какой 100? Больше. Он может немножечко жужжать у вас, но это из-за того, что из одной матери в другую мать провод включен, и там я не понимаю, как это жужжание убирать. Или вот этот микрофон получше. Блин, ну здесь классная тема есть. Кнопка мута сенсорная. Имба вообще. Чё? Здорово. Никто ничего не скажет, да? Какой звук больше нравится? Сейчас пойду, отойду и сам буду слушать.
He believed in him, and that's what we see here. Dynamo, a team that we've always been seeing in the top 4, top 5 throughout our global. So here they are again showing what they're capable of.
And we will keep tracking the 1-2 punch of Soul Salute, maybe the future of Korean PUBG, because they look that good.
The first time we see a double digit here, though.
That's true.
Everything else was 9 kills max, and now he drops a double digit one.
All right, let's take a look at the overall leaderboard after match number 2, 17 at 27. Na'Vi sitting in second, and Tropic and Daytrade going to be rounding out the top 4. United does manage to stay in the 5, partly due to the fact that Flood defended and then just was able to hold for a little while.
One of the things that's interesting to me, again, I know we're only 2 games in, so we can't take too much away from it, but when we look at the top 4 teams right now, to me, those are all 4 teams that thrive in the chaos. They're a team that have their agenda set. They don't rely on, oh, we gotta, watch back the games after game 1, or after day 1 to then prep for day 2. These teams are up front fighting teams that don't mind taking the fights to opponents, and well, that's why I believe you see the top 4 here, because they know exactly what they're up against.
Toby brings up teams that thrive in the chaos. Let me ask you that. We're only 2 games in. Should we expect the chaos to ramp up as this event continues, or is it just because everyone's getting their feet under them?
It goes down, especially once we've seen game number 2, 3, 4, and we're done with the day. All the teams, they're going to go back and they're going to spend the next 10 hours watching the games and get prepared. So they're going to be preparing against each other, the kind of counter strategy. So it's going to cool down a little bit more. But I love what I'm seeing from Entropic. We're in a situation where they're kind of thriving back in grand finals. They're making decisions rather than being passive.
I like it. All right, well, we are going to make a quick decision, and that is to take a short break as we prepare for game number 3, our last match for the day on Erangel. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
the fans.
Meditate on that! High five!
My eyes are up here. A bold message. I will not rest. Did you know they call Callisto the Dead Moon? Dead. Gives me chills every time.
Improvements to the folded shield, some spawn rate adjustments for vehicles, and a collaboration with one of the best footballers in the world. All this and more as we dive into the Update 20.2 patch report. First up, the folded shield is getting a few changes based on community feedback. The inventory weight has been reduced, weapon durability increased for both guns and grenades, and it now installs in half the time. You'll also find it a bit harder to run over than before, with a vehicle now needing to be going at least 10 kilometers per hour, instead of the 1 kilometer per hour it was before. In addition, the shield can now be placed back into your inventory, and deployment can be cancelled before it finishes. Let us know what you think about these requested changes. Next up, vehicles on Erangel and Miramar are getting a slight adjustment, with some spawning more and less frequently. You'll now find more UAZs and Dacias on Erangel, and more Murados and pickups on Miramar. To contrast, we've lowered the amount of boats, buggies, and aqua rails on Erangel. And speaking of maps, this update's rotation will now include Erangel, Miramar, Tego, and Destin for all regions. Regions with map select enabled will also have the option of playing on Sanaa, while regions without will instead drop into Karakin. As usual, the ranked rotation will remain Erangel, Miramar, and Tego. This update also features a collaboration with one of the best footballers in the game, Neymar Jr. For a limited time, you can pick up several Neymar-themed items in the store. Gear up and score big. There's also a reduction in the number of multi-care packages on Tego, some MMR adjustments for normal games, new workshop skins, and more. So be sure to check out the patch notes for full details. Update 20.2 is here, so fold up your shield, pack up the Dacia, and go catch a ball game. We'll see you on the battlegrounds.
17 and Navi finding themselves some success off the start, starting to get a lead as well. Hey, it's only 2 games. We still got a lot to go through. My eyes have been drawn to Entropic, who are now holding down 3rd place position. As I would say, I think most people would consider them to be a dark horse.
Yeah, conservative, patient play is paying off for them right now. They're doing a good job just managing risk and not kind of overcommitting to anything, surviving for long periods of times. And yeah, so 3 Erangels today is how we start things off, and this is going to be an interesting one because it's a bit southern shifted here. This is not ideal.
Yeah, this is...
I mean, for viewers, it's ideal, but, you know, for the teams, they're not so happy about this playing path.
So, you pretty much are saying it's a playing path I will like.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
There's a lot of military potential that's going over here. I mean, but we could also see some pathing going back over to our favorite place ever, Corey. Yeah, we definitely like that, no doubt about it. We haven't seen very many of those circles in losers bracket 2, not at all. But this one, maybe we'll get a melee circle here. You know, it feels like that could happen because, again, you know, maybe this is your first time tuning into PUBG esports. You know, first of all, welcome. Second of all, the first circle does have to touch the plane path in the esports mode. So that's something to keep in mind, and that's to keep things kind of in check, so that way, you know, there isn't some weird, crazy early, you know, stall burst circle shift, and all the teams are just completely screwed trying to get up there. So I know we're looking at day trade over there, but my eyes are drawn more in that school Raja direction. Are we going to see any more vehicle weirdness going on, as it looks like we got a couple of long drops coming out over there?
Vehicle weirdness. I like that.
Так, чат, я тут.
Wait, he does have a vehicle weirdness.
Yeah, he does.
Book.
He does. Yeah.
Я здесь.
Don't know if we can say that one.
I don't remember. Yeah. It's a good the semi.
Скуп тут?
Murdering people. Yeah, it's great.
Oh, I was thinking about like.
Нет у меня.
Скуп пошел тогда в жопу.
That is not the direction I was expecting.
Засунь себе новый микрофон, знаешь куда?
Зачем?
Zarky. Can you imagine if we got a Zarky circle off of this plane path?
Чтоб звук лучше был.
Вообще-то я сейчас со старого говорю. Ты что, конченый?
Как я понимаю, что ты со старого
Yeah. Words that'll have to be muted out of the.
Так скажем, будет новый фильтр.
Жопный.
Ты таким пользуешься, да?
Конечно.
Понял. We've definitely tried to learn from a lot of
Главное, чтобы с
mistakes in
подсветкой было.
PGC, and you know, going into this losers bracket, we really stepped up and learned from those. So we just hope to keep on improving and into the grand final, and hope to have a good placing there. I mean, it has to be our 22 kill win. I mean, that was just such a fun game, and I think it'll go down in PUBG history for a long time. So definitely the most memorable. Well, we mostly looked over pretty much all the games that we played.
У нас получается сейчас 5 игр, как обычно, закончить, потом можно еще пабг поиграть, да? А, Warzone мы хотели поиграть. Давай скачивай, Скул.
Я не знаю.
Чего не знаю, нормально, можно...
Блядь,
Чё?
меня напрягает, надо еще этот качать.
И чё, какие проблемы? Хочешь, я тебе скажу, в котором регаться не надо, ничего не надо, просто скачать, кнопку нажать и все.
У меня Винскрайб.
Винскрайб не работает, он уже заблочен.
Да?
Ну да, я вчера пытался с Винскрайбом скачать, не получилось. Пришел. Скачал Planet VPN просто. Ничего регаться не надо, просто устанавливаешь, включаешь, кнопку жмешь.
А VPN, который браузерный, не подходит тоже, да? Там нужен именно VPN.
Так ты же в Steam должен. Ну хотя, кстати, браузерный может быть и подходит, если ты зайдешь в Steam и там нажмешь кнопку начать. Может так?
Knows the angle that the res is likely to be taking place at, and then they start swarming through. You know, they've already got points in the bag, and he's just covering all these angles. Just
корейцы как будто без смока играют, блин.
And that's why he ended up with 10 kills in this game. I mean, he's just all over the place. Knows the last player has to be in that smoke. Starts spraying right across
А, нет, там все видно, в принципе, было.
It's just wonderful effort from him, and again, a player that came onto the scene in 2019 with a team.
Но если не этим заниматься сейчас во время игры.
Занимайся, чё? От тебя же только много толку нахрен.
Винхук сказал, типа, Винскрайб работает.
Ну, у меня вчера не раз. Винхук откуда, с России?
Да.
Не знаю, я вчера не смог его запустить. Попробуй.
Он мне какой-то гайд скинул, как это.
О, геморрой, лучше тогда скачай Planet и быстренько сделай без гайдов.
Ну скинь, что за VPN?
Так напиши Planet, VPN, все.
Его устанавливать еще надо.
Ну да, так там 5 сек. Потом снесешь и все, или оставишь вместо винскрайба.
Какой официальный сайт у них? Free VPN Planet?
Википедия открой. Я не знаю, я скачал да забыл.
У меня просто вырублена вся эта хуета антивирусная.
Не понимаю.
And United. I also would have thrown, of course, Twisted Minds up there. Even though they're down in 14th, I don't think that'll last too long. But yeah, Donawa should be a team that, did very well at PGC last year, has generally been consistent.
А что вот, смотри, установить программное какое-то обеспечение, типа, еще дополнительная галочка, это что? OpenVPN Technologies.
Покажи экран, я вообще не шарю о чем ты.
Не помнишь, что это?
I know. Well, this one is like it almost looks like a restaurant or something, whereas the one in Korea was almost like a theater, a small theater.
Не, это окно, блядь, поверх других. Я не могу открыть.
Ну не устанавливай, если не хочешь, боже.
А если это просто сам же VPN?
Да вряд ли, если это доп, как тебе порекомендует.
I also want to point out for everybody that is looking at the mat, we do have James that has moved very far forward into the circle already, and for overpeakers, and found himself a crate on top of all of this that's going on.
Ля Лукарус, конечно. На крысичах.
Nope.
Sad. AWM Praise? Maybe? That's what I'm hoping for. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I always hope for an AWM. It's like if every crate had AWM in it, then I'd actually be totally fine with it. I mean, obviously the players wouldn't, but me, totally fine with that.
Looking in, you can see that Cerberus is going to be coming in just to the southwest of Everest. We're starting to see that north-south gamble coming in as the river does cut right through it, as well as the bay. Looks like we've got Danawa, looks like Overpeakers, Twisted Minds, and FaZe leaning into that northern side, where most other teams kind of playing down to the south. Yoho, United, they might also be leaning into that northern pathing as well.
Well, I think most teams see that plane path and kind of have that idea that you were talking about.
Что там, вот я скачал VPN, надо выйти из Steam, да?
Да, просто закрой Steam, не надо выходить из него.
Дальше что, поменять на любой регион?
Включи VPN, да. Я Германию выбирал. Запусти Steam и скачь, нажми просто... Установить, типа. На самом деле он даже скорость не особо резал мне, этот VPN. Я его потом вырубил, проверил.
Man, James, he doesn't even know. Look, like I don't think that he has an idea that
might have heard that door. I don't know.
This is a 4-point angle hold onto him, and if Overpeakers comes in off of this, it might not even be James that dies.
Как же они Джимса спасут?
Maybe he's got control over it.
Well, he's so far ahead of the rest of the
А Джимс ведь не подозревает.
I mean, and then Twisted Minds is driving around out there, so they might even get caught up in that mess. Oh, Yahoo also running parallel to OP just south of that. I mean, all of this is...
I'm kind of astounded.
It's weird for OP. How about that?
I've heard of scouting before, but he's like playing a different game. Yeah, I was going to say, he's like almost a Miramar right now, so James is going to be the one that goes down. And
Toxic в лобби.
Actually a benefit, so that way the other three members know not to come into this position, because if they had crashed there, I think that would have been far, far worse.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. It could have very well led to the death of the whole team instead of just one member. You can see there that, trying to keep that level 3 helmet fresh from James so that they can put it into the hands of Donawa there, whoever, whatever player they choose to. Again, the level 3 helmet, so rare in the esports mode. It is worth its weight in gold. And here,
Перфект 0 попаданий дал по машине.
Taking shots at OP, but Perfectix normally pretty good on sprays for at least a little bit of damage, not finding any. On to Mexi there. Clib going to pull up and see if he can return the favor.
So that means the fact OP, after crossing that, might be leaning into this hillside, not wanting to move too much further forward because they know where Danawa is going to be positioned at. We do also have a 2-1-1 split coming up from Yoho, who's playing just to the south in one of the positions there. As they're I wouldn't say that this is greedy, but it does feel greedy.
I mean, yeah, it is a little bit. I mean, it is kind of risky because...
Ну чё, скачиваешь?
Banking on, remember what Wildcard did in the first game around here, and maybe you can sort of have a show of force as Yoho to convince other teams that you have fortified that eastern position where Balefrost is, compared to
Ты жив? Все, походу, за ним это... Скуба сейчас посадят за то, что VPN юзает. Чат, ваши предикты. Низ или вверх? Ладно, вы уже не успеете. Я за низ. Получается, мимо кассы. У этого алкаша, походу, что-то не работает Discord с VPN, что ли?
Меня резало почему-то это.
Да я понял. Капец, что-то Нави на шару въезжают. Экзампл уже сдох, походу. Wildcard does have a couple of different angles that they can hold on. Ну все. Хотя wildcard ног поймали от Адоза.
Yeah, and I think Cow is done. He was the anchor in a 3-1 split for the side of Wildcard, so it's going to be really difficult to go back and get him. His QM is going to drive right up to him, and indeed, that'll be the finish there for QM. Yahoo is suffering some knocks and some losses. Punage going to go out early for them as Overpeakers takes a point, moves up into 7th place overall, but you know, it's only the first couple of games. You still got a lot of games to play here. 20 games, 4 days is what the Global Championship Grand Finals is going to look like, and everybody, of course,
ну все, там у экзампла все плохо.
because we're going to have a first-time champion.
Он за зоной, он без тачки. Если только вайлдкарты уедут, его кто-нибудь из тиммейтов подберет.
No. I'd rather not.
That's like nightmare fuel.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I think that's a pretty low percentage fight for just about any player.
Наши QM, Нави и Твайт.
Maybe Soul, with how fired up he was in the last game, maybe he could give him a run for his money, but absolutely no doubt about it. He has been absolutely lights out for 17.
Пацаны по классике лежат, мост охраняют. Хорош. У пацанов один ПТС.
И один труп.
Хотя у НЛТ 4 ПТС.
This is causing a domino effect on the other side of the bridge where a bunch of teams are stuck trying to cross that long bridge, and because of the Expendables position, everybody else is just sort of in a waiting pattern on the other side, trying to see if they can find their opportunity to get
Что-то я подсел на Чечил.
Play for kill
С
points.
кайфом.
And day trade here, they were swatted away by the freaks, like you mentioned earlier, Matt. So they have to try yet another rotation, which means they're going to have to chew through the blue, chew through some health. Hopefully their vehicles don't have any whoopsies. And look at Cerberus's answer to this. They're going to try to just swim it. This is dangerous, but I think they can get away with this, actually.
This is kind of sneaky moving in over here, as Danawa can't really see this too well. I don't think that Yahoo is really keeping supervision on this angle off of how it's going to line up.
А Нави с вайлдкардами, ну так собираются чисто чилить там?
Не знаю. Ну Нави-то ладно ждут экзампла, а вайлдкарды что там?
Yep. All right. Well, you know, it's not phase 4 yet, so it doesn't have to remove all that river and all that water. So next circle almost assuredly going to hardship.
Ну слушай, если Нави будут ждать, пока ну что-то будут делать вайлдкарды так ничего не сделают. А Нави надо забрать своего тиммейта, который АФК лежит.
Не могут забирать тиммейта, пока вайлдкарды сидят.
Да, не могут. Поэтому им надо, чтобы они что-то сделали. Либо тиммейта продать и уехать.
Так им все равно некуда ехать. Им они могут и посидеть, похер, подождать. Там все равно все занято.
В ангарах кайфово.
Ля, они там сидят.
Ой, хорошо он дал им.
Let's go, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Put that AWM to good use. Salute. beautiful stuff from him.
Thank you, James. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your sacrifice.
Палец дергается на руке, охренеть.
Хуярь его, убивай его.
Хорошо. О, вайлдкарты уехали. Ну как бы, как уехали?
Ну недалеко они.
Сдохли.
Неплохо заходим. Да, зависла трансляция.
Не, у меня норм.
Да, у меня изыскать.
Найс! Ну и все. Спасли, получается, экзампла.
Спасибо, энтропики, хотя бы вы экзампла спасли. Это Долсчик катается.
Охренеть, они еще и резнули его.
Не, не резнули.
Резнули.
Ты докинуть не можешь, хае, блядь?
Отстойники, дали проползти по смокам.
Так, а там еще и резались прям в смоках. Они кинули 3 хае, не взорвали.
Аля подвыпил, что ли? Я не знаю. Едет как пьяный.
I don't know exactly what Akari's doing over there. If he was already over there, hard to say for sure. Is that part of the map? Haven't seen too much of it, but he did get punished for that kind of aggressive maneuver, or maybe he's just trying to get out now. The rest of the freaks have to lay down the covering fire to hopefully go for the res, but TMA, I mean, they have played with.
Я думаю, что в ангары, контейнеры.
They got goals. They think that they can win this firefight. They already got the numbers advantage. They just crash in. EN is looking. They realizes that how close they are. Peeking around this side of it, goes for the spray and does manage to fend up. Is this going to stop TMA, or are they just going to continue to push off of it? Circle's going to pop. We're going to continue into the north. EN's got.
А, посмотри, как они на кубы крутят. Вау, реально? Они сейчас будут ТМА сзади фармить или что? Пацаны не зря сидели, кстати.
This is nuts. This is absolutely wild. How did EIQ get through this? You got QBE and Ivis going for the heals, trying to get stabilized as the circle.
Там еще Густав хочет пофармить.
Very, very shortly. A good headshot from Smell. Can't find the finish.
What is he going to do? He is so surrounded right now. Lukaruk's trying to move forward. Naileup as well. I mean, Ivas now knows exactly where he's at. Shot's going to connect. Can he survive it?
Лол, Айвас, какой ты, конечно, Айвас.
Right now, as he has a goal, and that goal is to take down Entropic. Can QBE read it, as it is going to be a window peak battle?
Фейс пришел в Праге доедать.
Yeah, Smell here, just trying to keep his eyes on it. Oh, he's got a push coming around the corner potentially, and there's a.
Так занозил просто. А Доус на троих приехал, как-то так неловко вышло. Нави в итоге вернулись на этот мост, и сейчас снова с ТМА будут файтиться, да? Знают? Ай-яй-яй.
TMA now stepping away, making sure the fact that they're going to lure into the trap. Support's now going to start coming in. Helen, though, is also finding the shots out in distance of this one. Lulu's going to go ahead one, but Example does manage to take Helen.
Yeah, it's huge that they got Lulu always. A great spray again from Example. This guy is absolutely nuts right now. That barrel doing serious work at mid-range. Spiral trying to get involved. He might have Shao Hai.
Давай, братик, херач.
Left. Can he find the cover? The
man, if that car falls, that would be.
I think it's okay. Those grenades though.
Car is gonna finish it out. Vehicles.
Блин, ну ТМА неплохо играют на самом деле.
Is gonna take him down. FaZe now making the push into QM, looking into it. Diggory is gonna go ahead and pick that one up. FaZe at 4 kills and getting control of probably one of the strongest hillsides in the circle.
Поймы посыпались.
А Шу тут что, заблудился?
Фармить подъехал он. Тут у них ноки были. 3 нока было у Нави. 2 нока было у Нави.
Ой, вдвоем на мотике это, конечно, еще вазик без крыши.
Right on top of them. 17 and Navi presently tied in first. EIQ right behind them. That's going to be Mel and Ayla both going down. Uba's going to be looking into what's going on with Twisted Minds in front of them. They're falling right back behind Spiral on this path. That does get the the knock onto Uba. Just example up, but he can't take any shots. He's just trying to find safety. Overpeakers gets a vision in. Now it's just going to be the continued tapping, as I think he might have found a place to stop.
I think he's okay for now. At the very least, it's going to center up right on top.
Как думаешь, Example может пойти сейчас в стол ликвидов закрыть как мужчина?
At least getting to this position, potentially dragging a few more points into the bag of Navi. I mean, individually, this guy, who knows?
Если их нокнут кого-то, то может.
He's just been that good throughout this event. A lot of other teams on the Southwest have to come out of North Georgia. You've got Donoa, Cerberus, the remnants of Tropic, 17.
Мощные ребята.
They're taking their time, okay?
Yeah. I mean, I think they might have learned a lesson on navigating through this one. Hey, remember QBE? He could be the exact same problem we saw a moment ago. Now just seeing if he can pick up some more kills. Already at 5. Tropic. Gonna listen in. Let them walk.
Лох! Какой лошарик!
What a turn! I thought he was gonna get at least one.
Ой.
Tycon spins on a dime and finds the finish.
Ну тот челик, конечно, неожиданно его заспотал.
Причем даже если бы он их просто пропустил, он бы все равно умирал потом.
Мне кажется, они не смогут их быстро убить. Ну хотя сейчас ликвиды сюда обратят внимание, и они не смогут играть за зданием. Спаркинг хорошо делает. Хотя там сзади их прикрывают. Ладно.
The Og, man, he's got just enough health left. That grenade splashed and did enough damage to Yoho that he was able to step up and finish what show started. Now back over to this fight with FaZe and Cerberus. Potentially, Example is just
Example пошел уже Клиба убивать.
Making other players look silly. I mean, he's doing it time and time again. This is. I mean, he's always been great. I'll say it again. He's always been great, but this is by far the best we've ever seen.
Cerberus now trying to make the run in, and it's going to be FaZe that's holding the line up. Cerberus does
FaZe Cerberusов развалили.
To our top 8, as it's really just edge play with twisted binds in the middle of it.
Yeah, Donoa is going to hope that this fight gets really messy between FaZe and E-United, but Raylo gets the opening knock onto 8C and a quick finish as well. Diggory trying to play up front, up close and personal, but it's going to be Flood who uses Kickstart as bait. Really nice back and forth here from E-United.
Just looking down the hillside. E-United, I feel like gets a power-up every single time they're looking down the hillside on somebody. The higher the ground, the better the chance of their victory.
Каждая команда друг друга ждет, крысит, блин, под зоной. Понимаю.
And now it's going to be day trade that might be creeping into United's direction.
Oh, those bait and switches from United were absolutely gorgeous. The coordination there, beautiful from one of our America's teams. Snakers now pushing forward with the help of 2 other members.
Блин, ну, NLT надо бы Example убить без потерь. Example тупо сидел в машине.
Не, он лежал под машиной, потом сел в машину и пересел.
I mean, buy whatever point you can get, and he managed to do it. Now, United does have Belmont in front of them.
Ну сейчас Мэкси разминирует 17-х, и NLT пойдут его.
Ты должен нокнуть НЛТ, и 17-е должны...
This little hillside works, the triangle hill over here. You're just going to end up with people peeking back different sides of it, like leaning off one side then leaning into the other one, and really just trying to like deny vision across.
Канала еще едет.
Блин, ну Донава сильно.
They're just crashing right into him. Airtime's going to come out. Lucas can't see anything but does manage to go through the flash. Looks in, and now Salute on the opposite side of this one. Can they get prepped up?
Нихуя, Хаета он куда это кидает?
Does he even know where it's going to be coming from? Twisted Minds.
Донава сильно помогли NLT. А кто Мэкси закрыл, кстати?
НЛТ, наверное, во время.
Ну,
неплохо сыграно канала.
Какая награда за первое место? Ну там что, там 500 тысяч, по-моему, да, на весь турик? Не знаешь?
На весь турик 3 с чем-то ляма.
А, 3 ляма?
Первая чуть больше ляма, наверное.
Flood doesn't look like he has any idea what's about to be coming for him, but E-United still playing the opposite side of that hillside as well, means the fact that they still have a 3 stack that might be able to do something about it. Belmont wanting to make sure he takes his time and make sure that this is as valuable as possible.
Yeah, this is great for Twisted Minds. They can just wait this out.
Не знаю, мне кажется, вот те 3 человека, которые висели на Бурдж-Халифе, выиграли больше всех.
Это о чем речь?
Ну, презентация, то есть, типа, открытие турнира.
Я ее не всю смотрел.
Ну, то, что там Батут и кто-то еще просто, типа, на фул Бурдж-Халифу были нарисованы.
Здравствуй, Алексей Михайлович, как ты? Ой, какой же ты обормот Белмот, а?
Ну алло, 2 фрифрага, клоун.
Пожалуй, спрячусь. Да.
Все, они сейчас сдохнут еще от НЛТ. Смотри, сейчас НЛТ будут убивать Дэев, один Белмонт нокнет 2 ЕУшников, и НЛТ выиграет игру. А, ну если так постреляет, то нет, не нокнет.
Spins back into this direction. Twisted Minds now moving in. They want to flank right up on top of Daytrade. They're not going to let this go for too much longer. But
Да и решили форсировать события, потому что НЛТ в спину подходит. Но НЛТ тут точно топ-1. Прям железобетон. Норм сам как? Да как, блин? Кроватку детскую купил.
1 point separating them out right now as Twisted Minds still just going to lean into getting
circle control.
Instead, that rock going to provide some cover. Let Kickstart try to reset. Daytrade, who's had the momentum inside.
Мне сказали, что я теперь не единственный ребенок в семье, и с моими игрушками на этом закончено.
Yeah, I mean, Twisted Minds is really playing this extremely
Вот.
passive. They just want to let these two teams do as much damage to each other as possible. They get control over this hill line on the east side, which is a very powerful spot. They control the top end of the north side too.
В итоге Дэй не дожали ЕУшников, Флэш сейчас умрет от НЛТ. И эти, возможно, вообще кренделя сдохнут от синки, нет? Хотя нет, разыгрывать будут.
What is United trying to do? They've got vehicle. And Rello is still just trying to hold up. It looks like Daytrade's trying to send in, so Rello's going to lean into the tree. Smokes, Nuren's going to try to peek the other side of it. And this is all about just trying to listen in. Nuren's does have some damage that comes into him. Rello's still playing this slow, but now he has to be cautious. If he moves too much further forward, Twisted Minds might start peeking the top of that hillside. Blue Zone's going to come in, but Nuren's does go down with it. Belmont does get the knock onto Rello. It's going to be Kickstart at range. Does get some vision in, trying to get a knock onto what's happening. Belmont's trying to run away now. The rest of this team has gone down. Twisted Minds understands they have complete control over this game.
Yeah, this should be Twisted Minds cleaning up the rest of this one. Grenades are out.
Но НЛТ хоть что-то пофармите, давайте. 6 киллов это мало. Это очень мало. 7, хорошо. Да
Кеми осталось.
Yeah, there's no real way that he can win that one. Understands that Twisted Minds pick up their victory, feeling pretty good. I mean, they just understood what you needed to do to win that one. And you can't say the fact that, oh, they didn't really fight. Yes, they're at 7 kills, and they pushed down on their hillside. You have to remember, this is an awkward circle, as it was just in a valley. Everybody was playing along the hills.
Yeah, that's definitely a really weird circle, and it's one of those ones where if you control the east side, you're giving yourself a really good chance to win those games. And that's what Twisted Mind does. They find a perfect time to strike in that fight between 17 and Donawa. They walk through it. Yeah, you can see they're laughing. I mean,
А что за чел в белой футболке? Знаешь его?
Daytrade delayed for so long before that fight came out and really did a ton of damage to United. Kind of mutually assured destruction in a way there between those two teams.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they were waiting to see how the circle was going to go, because the moment that it popped, that's whenever the trigger got pulled as well.
Ну что, мужики, следующую игру ждем. Через буквально несколько минут.
There was multiple opportunities to maybe get 1 or 2 knocks, and instead, he's like, no, I'm going to play according to the strategies, and our guys on the desk understand.
Ты спрашивал, кстати, эту чепуху?
Thank you very much. We'll do our best to break it down. It came down to a game of patience, positioning, and then just dominance as TM rises to the top and cleans up for the first place finish.
And the win for them comes off of a hard East split commit. I saw them sit phase 3 and go, how long are you planning on maintaining this split for? They sat on it through phase 5. I mean, they were committing to it, the 2-2, and it worked out perfectly.
They wanted to make sure they're back for free. One of the most important things, especially when playing uphill, up high ground, and they managed to maintain all 4 players alive. But there's also a huge destruction coming in Annihilation in Nordjords, and especially with these circles here, it's so hard to get out of that live.
I mean, we saw it from very early on with James forcing his rotation on in to, unfortunately, ending up sitting up with the entirety of Dynama and then going down because of it. But overall, as you said, cluster in North George, always hard to have to get out of when you're going uphill.
I gotta say, these first 3 circles here on the first 3 games of Erangel have been amazing. The variety we've had, and we've not seen all these crazy, these circles and serving these circles. I like that.
Amazing for us. I think some of these teams, like we saw Na'Vi just trying to figure out how to even rotate. I mean, we saw teams doing long blues. Well, no, but they were doing splits around Everest. They came into a good third party. It worked out. But I think it was tough, though, crossing that bridge for a lot of these teams.
I mean, the fact that they not only come across, but actually stay alive for as long as they did is a very not so many teams can pull that off. They take the fight to TMA, they come in late, they say, we gotta go somewhere. Well, there's a fight going on over here. Let's join in. An example finds 3 instantly.
And in a happy situation for Twisted Minds is Belmont, absolute insane discipline, discipline. To make sure that United did not have an upper hand in that one.
I thought Batulan was going to win the hidden award for the entire day from game number 1, but that goes to Belmont. Now, as he not only waits it out, but you saw it. I mean, we were like, when's he going to take the shot? When's he going to take the shot? And it was the perfect time.
Sure was. There were many chances for him to do so, but he struck exactly when he had to, unfortunately, to the downfall of United. And I think what we saw happen there was, as Martin said before, exactly what Twisted Minds wanted to avoid having happened to them coming in on that eastern side of the circle.
So let's walk through. Twisted Minds takes that victory. They played very well into the end game. We're going to take a look at those top 4 teams.
What? Top 3 teams under 1,000 damage? I've not seen that in ages.
This is a 17 story, though. These guys are just out here putting numbers up.
Insane.
I mean, look at it this way. All the fights happen, as you said, North George. Teams trying to push on forward. Twisted Minds were never contested on the east until they actively took the fight themselves. First taking down Example and then pushing further south towards Overpeakers. United sat in the compound on the north side for the longest time, push out in the end of it. Day Trade as well coming in very late to the majority of the damage for all these 3 teams other than 17. Well, that was all done really within the last 5-6 circles.
Well, I mean, if you look at 2 and 3, United made that long rotation to the north. They found a good spot. They just sort of waited it out. Day Trade did something very similar with usage of the blue. And it was teams like 17 that I feel like had to really fist fight their way in there. That going out and forth, they're going to be really happy with 5 kills and that much damage, Martin.
Yeah, and on top of that, like we're seeing there, the Kings of the Wrangle right now, they continue to do so into the grand finals. It's actually kind of scary for everyone else.
Yeah.
If they can just kind of push this momentum a little bit into Miramar as well, we're looking at our champion, in my opinion.
And the thing is, for 17, to me, there isn't really a bad scenario for them. Like, they play
Only
well
Miramar
center.
so far.
They play, well, true, but I mean, overall, they play well center. They play well edge. They don't need the circles to go to them, because if they don't have them, well, they're going to go to the circle. They're going to take the fight to the teams that are there, and they will dominate them. Where other teams, you see them be much more comfortable in one spot or the other. They're very, very dynamic, 17, in how they play.
Yeah, it's one of those things you talked about earlier, Martin, how we're going to go home and watch videos, and it'll probably get less chaotic. I feel like it's hard to make a video or study how to deal with 17.
Yeah, right now, like, you have a team that's dropping Picardo Pachinki, one of the best, if not the best, drop sprite right now, and then they're on top. They're also proactive. They're playing edge well. They're playing center well. Their macros on point. Their strategy is just working overall.
So we are going to take a look at the match leaderboard. Twisted Minds puts up a nice 17. Donawa looking good at 11, and we saw Soul pop off in the last game. It was like his partner, Salute, decided, hey man, I can't let the young gun get ahead of me, and he played out of his mind.
I don't mind them taking turns. I just think next game maybe Helen is then going to be the player that pops off for my fantasy team. That'd be pretty impressive. I mean, we have seen Helen play phenomenal on Miramar as well, so hopefully for Donawa they're going to continue the success there.
It's classic Donawa, right? They always get themselves into these great spots, and if they're in the situation where we see them in grand finals actually also win some games, they're going to be a top 4, top 5 contender again for another global.
Absolutely, and this is one of those teams, I think if you talk to Paper or a lot of folks coming out of that region that say these guys have not only potential here, but 2023 potential. This is a team that could go the distance. Another team that's going to go the distance. They look good. They've got to win early. It is Twisted Minds. doing a great job in that one.
And one of the things that it doesn't really worry me, but I'm a little worried on behalf of the other 15 on the server. Twisted Minds, not the team that you usually see come off to the greatest of starts. They're one of the teams that play really well off of the Unforgiven, but because we've had such a long tournament now, it's not the start the same way that we would normally see in other tournaments. They have the info, but Tulin's the mastermind of PUBG, knows exactly what to do.
And Twisted Minds, they've actually produced twice the amount of points on Miramar, so them having points in the rank is going to be really scary once we get, you know, into the next 5 games. It's going to be Miramar. 2 today, the first 3 tomorrow too.
You're right, we're moving into Miramar after this one. You can take a look at the total leaderboard as we get ready to roll forward. 17 off of that consistency and those drop spots is going to find themselves in first place. It's going to be a crowd favorite as well as a lot of folks at home, and they're going into an even better location.
Insane fact right now, 3 games played, 36 points. They keep their average of 12 points per game, even in the grand final.
It's insane. That is absolutely incredible what they can put down. Na'Vi, when I started the day today, I asked you guys, do you think Na'Vi can sort of recreate their success from earlier rounds? So far, so good.
I'm not going to be complaining at all, seeing how they've come by the games that they've produced well in as well. I mean, this last one, of course, unfortunate for them that everyone but Example goes down. But even when the team goes down, Example still finds another 3 points before he's eliminated. So it's just these games, salvage becomes games that other people will be proud of to begin with.
And now he plays extremely well on their angle, but they actually put up 3.5 points more per game on Miramar. So they're a team that potentially could contest 17 games, and that's actually having some rough games on Miramar once we get to that.
And in some ways, Na'Vi seems like they're a team that benefits from the chaos and the craziness. They want to get in there and throw some fists around. Well, it's time for us to get ready to throw some fists around, as it sounds like game number 4 is ready to go. So let's do it. We'll head over to our casters. It is Paper Thin at Matchroom.
I'm really excited. I mean, I love Miramar. I absolutely do. And it always brings some of the best games, some of the best moments in PUBG esports. So super excited for this. The players are going to be super excited about this plane path. It's about as fair as it gets. Just a 45-degree angle cutting across the center of the map. That's easy peasy lemon squeezy. And you know, the Dust said they wanted to throw some fists. Well, I don't think there'll be any for a little while. This one looks like it might be pretty calm.
Yeah, depending on how the circle.
Я тут, господа. Так, у нас с вами 4-я игра сегодняшнего дня. Это Мирамарчик. Мирамарчик.
Мирамарчик, ты на вопрос ответишь?
Чё?
Артикс ответил.
Меня не было, я только подошел. Артикс ничего еще не ответил.
Он слишком занят, там очень много слов, да, в минуту говорит.
Сейчас я ему матом написал. Теперь должен посмотреть, наверное.
And so, okay, so this was the one area of kind of interest in the drop spots is going to be Los Leones. Now, it was sort of assumed by a lot of us behind the scenes that this.
Как там Куэмы? Лёх, да пока что-то не очень, на самом деле. Они там на соплях прошли в этот финал, но вот в финале пока еще ничего не показали внятного.
A lot of weird that's going on. Cerberus, are we gonna actually see a pistol fight?
Please, I can't remember the last time I saw a 1911 kill. It's been a while.
Creeping forward, this is. I don't even know where we want to stay at the time. This is, you can see that Solsky is not trying to move forward. Yuppie's going to go ahead and hop in the vehicle. He's going to get away. There is no fight that is brewing down in Los Leones yet. Everybody is definitely slowed down in their looting, though. It's you just got to keep an eye on every single corner.
Oh yeah, and this is Miramar in general does again offer some kind of unique opportunities for some early game sort of traps and picks and those kind of things. So you always got to be on your head on a swivel. And this time around, Yuppie, I'm pretty sure he heard the door. Or something, or maybe the
Ой, ликвиды под каким названием сейчас? Ликвиды это ОП на 9-й строчке играют в данный момент. Ну как? Не ликвиды, а ребята, которые в ликвидах играли. Сами ликвиды, они ушли из пабга. Прожмите будущему папаше лайки, там вот пишут. Да, вот будущему папаше можно и лайки, а то... Ну, Куэмы и в групповом этапе играть не играли, они там чуть ли не на последней строчке закончили, по-моему, если я не ошибаюсь. Спасибо за комментарии, Скуби. Вы настолько многословны сегодня, что капец.
Я просто научился у Артикса. Я смотрел его великолепные комментарии.
Блин, экзампл, мне кажется, вообще ничего не весит. Он прям совсем худенький. А какой рост у Батута? Он низкий?
75
That's the fisticuffs that we were looking for there.
Yeah. Get a little toss in going with it. Nothing.
Где-то 75, я думаю.
It didn't really go north-south in Los Leones. It looks like it has now moved more west-east.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
75 без метра, да?
Без метра, да. Метр в ширину. Снизу.
Hopefully you can avoid some solo losses as we saw in the previous game. This time around, he looks to be relatively safe, I think.
I still feel so bad for him in the last game. Imagine.
У Лёни была прикольная фигура, мне нравилась. Там надо было не рост, знаешь, измерять раньше, а чисто диаметр.
That's PUBG for you, right? I mean, that's kind of the beauty of the game, I think. You know,
Алекс, ну и желание у тебя, блин.
Frustrating as it can be to have those situations where you're like, I got the crate, everything's all set up, I'm fully geared, I'm fully looted, I'm ready to go.
Вообще, когда мы сообщили всем о том, что Маша беременна, то все сказали, что Руслан молодец, а не Маша. Так что все нормально. Да, у Сникерса там тоже мощные кулаки, мощно, братан.
And he walked right into it, and that's all part of the game. That's part of the fun. That's I mean, if you get beat by that, you just got to tip your hat and say, hey, fair play.
Again, nothing really just going too wild right now. E United does play in that northeastern area, so just a slow and steady loot process going to be coming up from them. Wouldn't be surprised if this is going to be a later rotation coming up from their crew. Then QM, Day Trade, and Wildcard are some of our northern teams, and almost everybody else.
Нет, будет 20 матчей, сегодня будет 5.
I don't think so.
Сейчас бы...
The Freaks are looking to, set up space as close to the center as they can get, and then fan out.
Шаман, я, кстати, досмотрел до конца.
God of War? Пошел в жопу. Мне уже там чуть-чуть осталось, я думаю.
Да нет. Ты сейчас на чем, на каком моменте?
Убил всех драконов на этой новой локации.
Не, еще. Ты хуя.
Well, hold that thought for a second as TMA has Cerberus under their sights.
Как дохуя?
Already got a knock, so you have to expend a vehicle here and some smokes to get the res on the He-Mass. Looks like it should be.
Ты тупо видосики на ютубе смотрел или что?
I think, yeah, going back to Entropic, it's like
не, я будущее просто посмотрел. Он как раз типа после тебя был в тот день, когда ты перестал играть. Сразу за тобой.
And they're going to let them do some of the early kind of reconnaissance for them, do some of the scouting, follow in their footsteps, and try to work, find the opportunity.
Ну, у меня там тоже жопа знатно горела. Я думал, что у меня только от тебя будет жопа гореть от того, что ты, типа, распыляешь свое внимание много на чем, на всякой фигне. Он встанет, блядь, какую-то хуйню посмотрит, блядь, просто так. Потолок, блядь, рассмотрит. У меня, ебать, пердак горел.
There's a lot of these little butterfly flaps, its wings kind of things that can happen inside of PUBG, specifically on drop paths.
Ой, 8 минут безудержного веселья уже прошли у нас практически. Никто на карте не умер, ни одно животное не пострадало.
Это как животное может пострадать, если оно не прошло в финал?
Я даже не знаю уже о ком думать. Ты столько хейтишь, что у меня уже в голове несколько вариантов. Хейтер, блин. Такие вот. Сейчас бы людей животными обзывать. Я вообще-то про животных говорил, а ты про людей говоришь. Ну ты вообще...
В смысле, так я про животных? Животные же не прошли в финал.
А животные разве принимали участие?
beautiful. Just great patience. Has Helen dead to rights here. Helen's going to bleed out. Yeah, Fex didn't even need to shoot another bullet. And it was done and dusted, so an early
Нормально так Хекс нагрубил пацану.
gathering of information or gathering of space as well for the side of Donawa falls apart as they are really split, by the way. That was kind of part of a 2-2 where Helen reached out just a little bit further.
Что-то я просмотрел, что там за зона.
Paid the price as FaZe also has a wide. So a lot of teams in the middle of this circle.
Маша, мороженое ты не купила, да?
Side of this circle are
Жопа.
Yeah, if you have the map up and you can see the split coming up from Danoa, they're pretty close to center, just to the west of Los Leones. That has been a pretty common PCS 2-2 split, just because of the way that the vision works and whatnot, and the circle control. It feels like it's.
Блин, ну так-то ТЕ поднялись нормально, я считаю, между прочим, с прошлой-то игры.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're seeing that.
На 50% улучшили свой счет. Как ты на это смотришь? Нормально? Как бы прирост, я считаю, неплохой.
Ты ешь что-то?
Да.
Нормально, это как Артикс. Нет, это, подожди, это даже Next Level Play. Лучше, чем Артикс.
Арти не отвечает.
4 поинта должно было быть.
Урод!
TMA is taking some long-range shots. I did want to let everybody know the reason why it feels like FaZe is involved in so much. Well, it's because they've got a lot of friends right next to him. We did just see Navi move in pretty close. So while these long-range shots are coming out, I also want to just note the fact that Yoho, and well as the Freaks, since we saw them a second ago, also could be in a situation around FaZe as the bullets now.
Так, Нави решили пофайтиться уже.
За что они тут дерутся? Что за зона?
Да и просто так, походу. На нахер, Фекс! Нагрубил там пацану, выпал теперь. Ну это, слушай, что это? Это Донава? На бетонку? Да. Да. Так там еще статистика это свободно. Ликвиды, наверное, туда сейчас заедут. Донава поехали стакаться.
Вот как Клип стоит в опене? Почему он не умирает? Чего едут, драйвают, типа.
Да, Донава, блин, тогда приехала, батута за деревом, просто чел вычислил.
Gets another kill on Cerberus down.
Варда имба позиция.
Clib, we were joking, we were talking, me and some of the coaches and stuff about how Clib, you know, every player has like their highlight gun, right? Like Tiggleton is the Mini 14, for example.
Ой, Мэкси слышит, интересно, нет? Ну да, слышит. Как он долго первого нокал!
Lulu's going to move forward with the way that we saw the setup coming up from Cerberus a while ago. I don't know if Overpeaker's going to be able to do too much. Are they just going to go ahead and regroup and commit into the Cerberus fight? And that looks like that is going to be the case. So they're going to surrender that building back.
Что, Вард упал с
This is
крыши?
just kind of the terrain.
То есть сейчас четвертый матч и еще ластовый пятый будет и все? Ну на сегодня да.
Нормально выпал.
Ну как бы и так на 50% увеличили свой счет достаточно.
This circle here, phase 2, eventually it should start going east or north in some direction. Now, that being said, you and I have had the fortune of having the rarer, it still happens, the rarer southwest shift. And again, this is because of the land ratio.
А, нет, не зафармит, что ли? Почему Нейлоп там вообще один?
So, got to
Нейлоп соло загулял.
now EIQ realizing how cautious this is starting to get. Bard's going to step around, make sure to get the flush, and it's just him and Clib. And it looks like they should be able to regroup around James, as I believe that's going to be a stop to both Entropic and Wildcard's aggression. Man, Wildcard is separated.
Yeah, this is a little bit curious from Wildcard. I have to assume they knew something was going on. I don't, maybe that they weren't quite aware that Entropic had fallen back this far. Not exactly sure what was going on there with what information they had, but yeah, we're losing a lot of solo scouts here early.
Sorry, just teammate walking
Xiao Хайкс, он там мощный кулак держит, видал? Я бью и ломаю палец.
Все Ксяо мощно держат кулак.
Yeah, they're spicy, that's for sure. And this is Greg Shot.
Когда рядом их тиммейт.
Chicken winging again. If you look at him from the outside, it looks like he's, you know, he's kind of doing a little chicken dance there. Just trying to keep himself quiet is the goal of that. Puchills sends it really deep ahead of the rest of Daytrade. Look at that.
А у Дейтрейдов вообще как дела? Нормально?
Да, неплохой сплит, я считаю. Ну, они 25% зоны контролируют, нормально. Опа!
Халявка для Лу. Сейчас Коэма бы не отдать.
Yeah, this is a really smart move here from Puchills, the IGL for Daytrade. I mean, it at least gets a lot of information, gets a compound that's in the circle.
Вот зачем Нейлук пошел в соло, сдох просто на ровном месте?
Не знаю.
Ведь команда с кайфом сидит в зоне, наверху.
Может, он думал, он такой красивый, сейчас в крысу сделает фраки, отойдет. А куда фейзы поехали?
В яму на дорогу.
Так это рано.
Да нормально, там можно играть. Еще пивас еще отъедет.
Ой, все спалился так. Без шансов для пиваса вообще. Ну да, ну да. Фейзы отправились в лобби.
Эндропики что-то по одному просто пиздец и все.
Солидный геймплей, ребят, что ты скажешь?
Здорово.
Боже, пубг. Просто со 100% вероятностью мог закрыть.
Их просто трахали все подряд по одному челу.
Да. Пунодж, давай! Давай! Трахай их! Странно, что остальные не драйвбайили. Только с одной тачки решили подрайвбайить.
Потому что пассажиром ехал, поэтому так-то все один-один. Фармить Акада.
Такое все решение тоже возможно.
Молик, молик, молик.
Блин, как же все-таки жестко Берил сбривает. Эмка так вообще не может. Солоский сейчас...
Эмка так может, если два в лицо попасть.
Только так.
Ну, только
а с пабгом это такое, это тебе не КС.
Так в КС тоже не сильно легко попасть два в ебало.
Не, в КС намного легче. Вообще в разы просто. Я говорю, что в КС у тебя нету баллистики, у тебя нет упреждения, у тебя игра с нормальным ТТК, вернее, с нормальным этим тикрейтом. У тебя все нормально регает, ничего не лагает.
Вопрос только, когда регнет, а так регает.
Так что нет. Если бы был нормальный тикрейт, еще бы, может быть, можно было об этом говорить. Но с такими рассинхронами в этой игре, ну нахер.
You know,
20 матчей всего, да, 20 матчей всего. Сегодня Сегодня будет 5. 4 дня по 5 матчей. Understand?
Вам надо как-то поагрессивнее на край никого не пускать. Вот они сейчас будут драться, надо прям мешать и тем хуярить их.
Какая отличная застатка от чувака. Просто очень хорошо сыграно. Пацаны, волын ушли, слушай. На 125%. На 150% они увеличили свой счет.
Сейчас можно помирать, и они будут играть по статистике Апекса.
Lulu, you're about to drive into somewhere you do not want to go. So, yep, good Spidey senses tingling. Gonna cut away from that. But guess what? This is also not a way you want to go. Is overpeakers who have been having themselves a good round. 6 kills already. It's phase number 4. Potential for a couple more, depending on how TMA moves into this.
Yeah, let's see what they can. Oh, Clib.
Oh, man.
Oh, I love this.
These trap plays. I love trap plays, and we're seeing so many of them today.
I know. Belmoth earlier. Now we get to see Clib. They're all over the place on this map. Because everybody's playing so spread out.
Yeah.
If you can
Сейчас
find
клип
these
спалится,
opportunities
чувак
where you can stay in
развернется,
it, you
блин.
gotta capitalize.
Сейчас Джимс из-за
Что,
клипа
инфуда он
умрет.
не дает вообще или что, блядь?
Clib gotta figure out what he's gonna do. Takes the shots into Lulu, but doesn't get him down. Lulu always now looking back in. Zone's coming in. That means the fact that this is going to be
Джимс просто выходит в опен,
Ну да.
когда по нему фул инфа
Now
есть.
you've got Navi looking and Donawa into this fight. Shao Hai spotted by Clib. Wants the point. He's gonna find it. He gets taken out in the blue by Donawa, but that's gonna spring Navi into action. Salute grenades out. Want to get these into Navi territory. They are bouncing in. They're doing damage, but they're not finding any knocks.
While this is happening, don't forget the fact that peakers are going to have to move potentially around this. It could be a distraction. So Soul's going to go down. It's going to be a nice nade from Uba. What is Danawa going to do? This is going to be very difficult to breach. The smokes are out.
Сейчас 17 гейминг убьют Куэмов.
And Flush is going to come out. Danawa cannot breach.
Yeah, they just couldn't find the timing to
17-е сидели, просто терпели без киллов, вообще ничего. Ни туда, ни это, не выходили, не бычили. Просто сидели, ждали.
Коэми также с кайфом сидят наверху.
Ну, Коэми хоть стреляют вокруг. Добрый вечер, хорошего настроения, дамы и господа. Добрый вечер, добрый вечер.
Yoho over here causing them to be the one that's hiding back into the corners as Navi is still trying to fend up against the overpeakers.
Но Нави сейчас ликвидов должны уничтожить нахрен. И у них там отличная
игра на одну зону.
Да. Но они что-то зачистят, да проедут.
Они... Да и не особо есть куда ехать.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Kickstart wants to see if he can, snag a few kills, maybe gain some information, gain some space. As Navi going to make their way into the edge of the circle. Looks like safely so far. Yeah, Kick spots out one, and well, it gets stolen from him.
Плюс-поинт для Батулина получается. Просто ликвиды кормят СНГ команды поинтами. Спасибо, спасибо, пацаны. Но клип сыграл вообще отлично.
Они до сих пор думают, что тут живой в смоку. Они уже 4 хае въебали.
Ну, зато у них игра интереснее. Ну вот Нави на место ИУшников могут спокойно играть, мне кажется, если как-то там их немножечко поддушить. Вопрос в том, дадут ли там им выходить, чтобы их поддушить? Могут ли они? Че 17 гейминг делают? На своей или под Коэмов подошли? Под Коэмов подошли. Ну да.
It is near impossible for 777 to get a ton out of this unless he can find a few more smokes to just
keep going back, pick it up a moment.
Yeah, I mean, just, you know, just turn this place into San Francisco in the morning, right? Fog everywhere. Just get on in, and you can see he's trying. This sucks.
I wouldn't be surprised if he just surrenders this one potentially to the blue and don't give anybody the gratification, because you know they've been sitting there making his life terrible for 5 minutes. Just don't even let him have it.
No, exactly. I totally
Есть
agree. He should
ощущение,
not give the point over
что
here. He should just die to the point. That is absolutely the right play.
17-е сейчас могут
might be
убить.
taking a fight against QM.
17-х или 17-е?
17-е.
Так я же сказал, 17-е убьют КМ. Ну, мне так кажется.
Не, они вроде поняли, что те упори и отходят. Ну, вот это нормально. Тогда могут и не убить. Единственное, сейчас Яху еще идут к Доузу.
With the expendables now gone, can move in, and the pathing that looks like QM is wanting to take is going to be exactly where Yoho has sightline.
Yeah, well said. I think, you know, for 17 here, this is a really important moment in this because, again, they've been explosive on Erangel. We could see that coming into this game. You know, one of our top Erangel
Зачем Хоббит в зеленом гелике играет на Мирамаре?
Been able to find a lot of success, and if they can find some good fights here, now they're trying to come down off this hill right at the same time that E United is driving at them. E United's going to find a hill for safety. 17 a bit.
А, так слушай, там Нави, что они там? Не чую. Пока за зоной еще находятся. Блин, ну это такой себе мув. Мелманок. Повезло.
Okay, good. Okay, he's safe.
Что, они еще резких могут?
I mean, that was, yeah, that was really challenging for Navi. And they're still not in the circle, by the way. That position is not in. They just have to use this to heal up and try to maybe make a smoke wall of some kind. I mean, I don't know.
Ну, такой себе мув был.
Because you got Yahoo and Twisted Minds bearing down on top of you, Navi.
Лучше бы куда-нибудь в юшников тогда въезжали.
Yoho has so much vision here, and they're really trying to exploit it. Balefrost taking shots into E United right now, and that means the fact that QM is just going to have to sit
потеряли Хоббита.
Well, okay, I'll go ahead and see what's happening in here. Perhaps up.
Они встали full open, по-моему, нет?
Нет, там нормальная яма, но...
Ну, сейчас там... Не знаю.
I love the way Lil Ghost played that. Saved his grenade for the ending spot of QM, trying to see how much damage he could get out.
Спаркинга кто нокнул?
Wasn't able to find any
Нави?
hey, you got Mailman back up for Navi.
Ой, хорошо! Там чел у ПК стоит, убей его, пожалуйста!
Кто только что проснулся.
Ему было так плевать вообще просто.
Little Ghost still playing this so slow though. He wants to see if he can get a good connected shot onto E United. Not happening yet. And really it's just a lot of teams just trying to pick each other up.
Хорошо, Спарки.
Они Пунет же сейчас еще могут убить и...
Могут, они еще и в зоне пока.
Good one though from Dante. Again, you know, he's in range of them. They're in range of him. So for sure, a nice response here from QM is going to stall things for a moment for both teams. Is Flood from E United? Is he going to try to get involved? Is he going to try to punish 17?
I gotta say, Yoho just got demolished over there on the west. Navi has managed to reset just Punage up over there as he was running down the hillside to block out some of the vision. E United and 17
Бедолаги на 17 гейминг, как же там им тяжело. Досиделись у себя в домиках.
That's very true. I mean, the fact that they've been able to successfully, you know, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, wrap this out. That's a strategy.
Ой, если будку зажжет, вообще имба. Походу не попал.
17 is trying to cut off E United as they were trying to get ahead of them in the circle. Flood out in the open.
А, попал.
Mel is going to take out Punage, so Yahoo loses that fight out on the western edge.
Kickstart tries to go for some shots. He's going to go down, and there you go. E United is going to get taken out. Shots are going to come out enough to at least get down Ghost, but now QM has the capabilities to exploit. Navi's got some smokes down, and this is going to be... Nah, I don't know. If you can manage to make this work, Navi, you deserve to be at the top of the leaderboard.
Тут уже NLT они могут спокойно играть как угодно. Тут уже никто NLT ничего не сделает.
Still, I mean, Navi is so tenacious, and that's why they're in second place currently. And
как же 17-е трахают?
Dante down, a doozy, looking for a res, and 17 Gaming trying to see if they can finish what they started.
Как они из того дерьма вообще выбрались?
First back up and running.
Им там коемы с юшниками помогли или что?
Юшники нормально помогали. Сдохли.
Ну тут NLT опять вин 100%, блин. У них все для того, чтобы выиграть. Думаю, сейчас коемы закроются, и потом опять финал между NLT и 17.
Don't know what happened with the freaks there. We missed it. It was something weird if you saw the kill feed. That's neither here nor there. Twisted Minds, you know, this is one of the best late game teams in the business. They are so methodical. So
ребят, не забываем пока лайком поддержать стримера такого красивого.
What is 17 wanting to do with this throwable is now coming out, and this is just going to be all she wrote. Question mark. Now, it's going to be Twisted Minds that lines up. They've got the hillside. 17, can you fight your way through it? It's a 3v4. Twisted Minds had control of the circle for so long versus, again, the constantly pushed and constantly fighting 17.
Well, they want to go for back-to-back wins here, Matchroom, and just
как-то пассивно действует NLT сейчас, на мой взгляд.
Something like that earlier, already up to third, and could usurp 17 with a victory. 17, though, has a really nice position in the circle in terms of being close to the center, having a hill to work with, having some cover to work with.
Позиция у Спайра пока мне непонятная. Он какой-то угол хочет создать, типа, но...
Он ждет, пока они забайтятся на основных, вот на этих, на батутах,
ну, понятно,
перфекта, и потом...
Но у него одна ошибка, и он ошибся, все.
Ну да, да.
Trying, man. He's
еще и Синька сейчас подушит.
We talked about the fact that he had himself the Bolty. Spyro's playing outside the zone, lining in. He's got all of the information, takes the shots, but doesn't get the down just yet. That means that 17.
Ну все, надо с этим пацанам тоже идти вперед.
Да все, они забрали этот хребет, им пофиг уже. Они в центре. Теперь главное Спайра добежать до них, и все, 4-3, можно уже разыгрывать. Единственное, Луча умрет. А нет, там Пасивич.
Серег, ну там еще коляску детскую надо, что ты?
Now just down to one, fighting through, seeing if maybe he can get a 1v3. The smokes are out, creeping into it. Spyro's now moving forward, trying to assault. You can see crawling bodies trying to feed information over to their surviving teammates to figure out how to navigate what's happening. Running around the outside of the 17's now going to be leaning into the sideline. That's going to be Lou over here. Now, Spyro sets up. Instead, it's just going to be the continued dance around this hill. It's going to be Toolins on one side. Goes for the spray. Does get the knockdown. It was a massive amount of damage. This just became a near-on impossible task for Lou to try to do.
Yeah, I mean, Xiao Wu there wisely taking the point where he can get it before he's finished off. And Twisted Minds, back-to-back wins. Huge performances from them on both maps. Erangel into Miramar. A lot of people were saying it, the desk was saying it, these guys are the favorites to win, and you can see exactly why.
Continued climb going off over here, and yeah, this is just, again, clean performance. You do have to say, they didn't have to do the most moving by comparison, but that's just kind of the way that the circles go. They still managed to pick up a ton of kills, and they were extremely active inside that circle.
Yeah, and it's just smart maneuvers in the late game. That spiral flank, absolutely beautiful. It was...
Ну и хорошо. Две подряд, получается, NLT забирают. Ну и мы с вами ждем следующую игру. Ну и все, и все курить, наверное, или куда там они ходят.
Thank you very much and congratulations. 4 games played, 2 chickens won by Twisted Minds as they come out and absolutely dominate day 1.
Indeed they did. Do they get circles initially?
Ладно, ребят, увидимся на следующей.
Yes, they do. That late game, I mean, if you're a coach, if you're an analyst for any other team, you can sit down and you can break it down 15 times because there was a lot to be unpacked from that one.
Honestly, in general here, how they're able to control after they got out and maintain everybody, spirals, angles, everything worked out perfectly from the end there. But again, a little bit of circle, like, sure, it is the important ones, but still you have to be able to be proactive and you have to be able to close it out.
mean, Batu and the boys had 20 minutes to plan how to come out of that house, right?
But even then, I mean, it's one of those positions where you literally have the only hard cover left in the circle. Teams will try and contest you. But because they were able to do so much damage early on, the pushes that came towards them was never the 4-man stack. It was a 2-man, very wounded team, a 1-player solo that tried to make the maneuver on forward.
And on top of that, we also have, you know, the situation where United, they wasted like 6 nades on a guy that's already dead. Then they can't use that utility later on. That's kind of unfortunate. But then they didn't know that it got stolen. They could have thought it was someone else. But unfortunately, kill feed is like the information they're able to get from the kill feed is super important in this case here.
And the way that we see Twisted Minds, after having dealt with Na'Vi, then push out, we see Spyro playing the backside, well controlled, but then they all commit to the push off of that info. Push them back from the center. That's why initially they push up, then they like stop on the very center where they know the game is going to end, wait for the final players to come towards them. Perfect play.
Is beautiful play from Twisted Minds, but again, we're also going to see 17 at the top of that board. You guys chose them to have a big day one. They are also coming up big time. Let's take a look at those top 4 teams, and you're going to see Twisted Minds up there on top of those 11 kills. They were able to come out and play cleanup, but 17, again, fist fighting their way in and always making sure they're in that top 5.
Disgusting amount of damage from Twisted Minds. Almost 3,000 with 11 kills. That's insane amount of damage. Then again, if you have compounds, if you're able to now kind of push everybody out from the center, then it's easy.
The only reason Twisted Minds is allowed to do so much damage is because what we usually don't see, we have 2 teams on the hilltop above. We have 17 and Question Mark both sitting up there battling one another. Had one of those teams been taken out earlier, or had one of those teams not been there to begin with, that hilltop team completely prevents the compound team down below of doing anything. But because they were occupied with one another, Twisted Minds obviously aware of this, that allows them to spread out, that allows them to play more control.
So a good look at a couple of these great shots.
Yeah, of course, happy to see Spire pop off there, but Na'Vi still getting some good points there. Getting good amount of kills, good amount of placement still, getting some points, and they're just consistent throughout here. So I think the top league is going to be very close once we get to see that.
We got a quick look at Freaks over there. I think they're probably not going to be as happy as maybe we think they will. They got 4th in the overall there, but only 267 points, not a lot of kills on the board. It seems like they're playing a little bit of a recovery style of PUBG right now.
This was clearly one of those where let's see if we can just get some more playtime on the server. 4th place, literally 0 kills in the game too. It's not something to write home about, but again, it's a 4-point game that they haven't really come by at this point yet. So maybe, who knows, that's what they needed to reset.
Yeah, before this, 15th with 1 kill, 16th with 0. Kind of a rough day for them. They really need to step it up in the last game to have some momentum going into tomorrow.
So it's a bit of a come up, I suppose, on that match. Let's take a look at the match leaderboards here. We got Twisted Minds with 21 points put in the bank. Na'Vi continuing to show up every single time, 10 kills. Whether or not they get the position, they are going in there and fighting for it, 17-11. And of course, Question Mark has really been putting in some good work as well. So I think surprising me a little bit with their consistency.
Yeah, for me here in this situation with Na'Vi, they continue to have decent placement, but they frag out like nobody else. It's crazy. 33 of their 45 points is from kills. It's only 12 placement points.
I mean, and when you look at the end game there, Melman gets knocked there behind the ridge. They know they have to move. All the other teams have to do is just let's not look at them until they start running. 2 people look. Example finds 2 instantly. Like they are a threat. No matter how much their back is against the wall, they will continue to find heads.
And that's exactly the case, right? You have a situation where you are able to squeeze those 2-3 points out of the games you don't win. And then when you have your big games, that's where you're really going to get push yourself ahead.
The amount of damage put out by Twisted Minds, I'm sure Perfectix is pretty annoyed that the amount of damage he did, that he walks away with 0 kills from that thing. But that just goes to show the fact that they bristled up. They made everybody suffer. You couldn't find a spot in the middle without at least having a bit of a lead greening from Twisted Minds.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, they had so many... That compound is disgusting once you have to get off the high ground, right? They have so much control. They have a lot of ridges to play with. You can even see how Aspira was just able to run out and have all the kind of roadside control easily for himself.
I mean, and again, they were the team that had the hilltop initially that was then taken away from them. They then unify down below, and because, again, they know there are 2 teams fighting on the top, they spread out, they take control, and that's the result of the damage.
Well, you know, when I saw Twisted Minds get that second chicken, and I saw 17 again in the top 3, I thought, leave some chicken for the rest of us. But it is a lot closer than I expected. 47, 43, 42. It is tight at the top.
Just with 4 games played here, the top 3 is 11 points ahead of United in this case here. It's looking like the favorites are here to perform on day number 1. It's still only 5 points between number 1 and 3rd right now, so it's super impressive.
What is it that Navi, we kind of started touching on that last time around, is doing that's putting them in this position? Is it just the scrappiness?
Okay, no, they're fragging out. They're salvaging the games that they don't have winning position from. So they're getting the kills, they're getting all the points that they can, so they're squeezing every single point out.
The games that they have where other teams will come away with 1 or 2 because they managed to kind of sneak their way to an end game, Navi gets there with 6 kills. And even if they then can't get that final end game circle going their way, they already have the 6-point game to back off of and the placement points to follow.
So let me ask you this, what's the difference between them and overpeakers? Because I keep seeing overpeakers in a scrappy style. We see Jeems out there taking fights. They're getting 8 kills on a game, but they don't seem to be in the same position that Navi is.
No, it's often cases where they may be 1 or 2 circles behind. They're a little bit more passive. Navi gets decisive. They are proactive their games right now, and also they're winning every single or almost every single of their gunfights.
I think one thing is for sure, their communication is on point right now, completely to me uncontested, maybe with the exception of 17 Gaming playing a similar aggressive playstyle, but right now, I mean, they did both those teams unstoppable.
Well, there is one more match to play. When we come back, we're going to find out, can anyone stop these juggernauts? It's time for Game 5 of PGC 2022 in just a few minutes.
This win goes out to the fans.
Meditate on that! High five!
My eyes are up here. A bold message. I will not rest.
managed to avoid the vehicle explosion, but Sia is so close. Manages to hit the shots on expert. Now it's just a matter of time. Looking at back behind this, and it's also going to be New Happy trying to get an angle in as well. Nice toss on an angle. Gizera is going to go down, but it's going to be running right into the low ground positions for SGD. Shots are going to come out, and you can see 2 down, and now just 1 up, trying to make the runaway. He's going to go down. Vehicles and perfect for over Beakers.
Exactly. OP's going to try to take advantage of it. Big grenade from Luca Rux finds 2.
Well, Jin G's got a goal, and that goal is going to be having to contend with T5. That's pretty close. Unfortunately, Anonymous is already going to go down. And while they
information to be making this move, now Adder around the corner gets Padampong. Can he get another? No. Gen G, 1 and done.
For all these teams, T5's going to go down. Now it's going to be Angel Brazen. Gets the double up, trying to cling to life, but there's still multiple members of 22 over here.
Oh, they're both pushing into him. H-Twin did such a good job. Clean this out for free. Meanwhile, Tai Lu. Oh, God. Hurry, Rob. Canaxi just... Relatively a young team, an up-and-coming team compared to a lot of these others that are in this.
They're going to be walking into a no-man's land. Diggory finally gets the vision on Tongs. USG suddenly at the tables, turned on him. Diggory still trying to fend up. Does manage to get another one down.
Last game of the first day of Grand Finals about to kick off as we are still staying our way over into Miramar. And while we have seen a very chaotic set of games, specifically at the tail end of it, Twisted Mind has done a great job in trying to find success and managing to pick up 2 back-to-back wins.
Yeah, their late game prowess is impeccable. They are nigh unbeatable, it feels like, if they come into the end of the game with 4 up. So disciplined, so smart, the way that they attack you, the way that they approach the angles, the way they know the terrain. Best in the business as far as I'm concerned. And looking at these top 4 teams, Matchroom, this is literally the top 4 that I thought would be there. I mean, this is, I think, the 4 best teams in this lobby, and they're proving it.
Yeah, I mean, we've had some formulaic circles today. Now, let's not try to shy away from that one. So whenever everything seems to be calm, expectations where everybody expects. But we might see some shifts in circles, some craziness kick off, and allow some of these underdogs to find their legs, find their opportunities. Because while we have seen Twisted Minds manage to string together some wins, kills have been not as favorable as some of those other teams. They're still managing to just rack up huge kill counts, most notably 17.
Yeah, and I'm happy to see on Miramar at least 17 get deeper into the game. They're not racking up the same amount of kills as we saw in Erangel, but as long as they're getting like some kind of decent amount of points on Miramar, then I am much more confident about 17 winning this event. Again, it's been their Achilles heel. They just need to find points on Miramar, and they may well just be our 2022 champions.
It's if they can just manage to make it in, just placement points, just keep that points per game up, you're going to have a phenomenal run coming out from 17, and they have the potential. Like, this squad, you saw how they could play in desperate situations. They somehow managed to find ways to rally, and even then, still just having fun. You can see smiles on some of the faces.
And he's got half a coat on. He's not even wearing the full coat. I mean, I don't know how that's comfortable, but
What's
hey,
the
you do you.
strategy on that? Is it, is it just like a section of the fan is hitting him or what?
I'm not sure, but maybe he needs to keep that keyboard arm, you know, a little bit warmer, a little bit faster.
I do not understand the science of it. Somebody in chat is definitely going to make sure that I know, though. But let's get our last game of the day underway. Playing path is going to be kind of a weird one.
Yeah, I bet. This one's definitely pretty weird. All right, Matt. Well, let's see exactly what it looks like in full.
I feel like we might not be getting our formulaic game this time.
I hope not. Fingers crossed. I'm hearing a lot of cheers, a lot of whoops, and it's our final game of the day.
The audience knows what's up. They want the fun circles. They
That's
want
right.
it to be wild. They
Let's
want
get
to play down.
loud.
All right, so looking in, we'll have to see how drops are
И,
modified.
дамы и господа, пятая игра сегодняшнего дня. Стример на месте. Только подошел, отлично полежал на диване, чуть не уснул. Замечательные перерывы. Просто божественные, волшебные. Очень здорово. Классно смотреть турниры по пабгу, где ты по 20 минут должен лежать на диванчике. Что? Периф, да, периф. Чё, скачал колду?
Да, я давно скачал.
Чепух пока не определенный какой-то, понимаешь?
Я думаю, он ждет,
пока ему
скажем,
хозяин скажет,
окончания
что...
турнира, пока хозяин скажет, что делать дальше.
Понятно.
Southwest? Maybe?
А чё это они заорали? Чё? Зона низ, на фейзов, фейзы в центре зоны. Такое мы, в принципе, нормально должны приезжать. НЛТ тоже. А где еще? А, Нави. А Нави как с такой зоны едут? По низу? Или ты не шаришь?
Чё?
Нави из минуса как в такую зону поедут? Вниз спустятся? Через пикап?
Как его? Блядь.
Или по полю справа от чумы?
Подожди, Нави же минус лутают.
Я и говорю, Нави с минуса, чё?
Через пикада, наверное, хз.
Так, ребят, у нас с вами как раз есть время раскидать пассианс какой-нибудь, я не знаю. У меня, например, косыночка. Сколько всего игр в гранд-финале? 20 игр. Сегодня 5. Сегодня смотрим 5. Завтра смотрим 5. Послезавтра смотрим 5. Послезавтра смотрим последние 5. Окей? Найс.
А если не окей, ты поменяешь?
Материал усвоен. Если не окей, тогда не смотри.
Ладно, я пошел, давай, баба.
Давай. Мне кажется, косынку интереснее раскладывать, чем смотреть, как эти типчики просто лутаются.
That's the tough thing about PGC, right? You got 32 teams that come in, only 16 can get to the grand finals, but a lot of them, you know, have worked so hard for it, and of course it's tough to go out early. So, you know, shout out to all the teams that made it here, that played their hearts out. Really, just has been a absolutely phenomenal tournament all the way through.
Феноменальный турнир. Феноменальный.
Get a real chance at glory to put their name, you know, inside the museum.
And this is one of them that has a really good chance.
No doubt. I mean, these guys got to be the favorites. They just have to be, in my mind, and because of the way that they played so well throughout the last couple of years, you know, through their various.
Так в напряжении держит вообще просто. Вау. Damn.
I mean, they're so smart. They're so, you know, Hiruzen is a great coach. Everybody there is just some of the best minds.
Интересно, когда они поймут, что надо что-то сделать, что надо что-то поменять, что так не круто. Наверное, когда уже никто участвовать не будет.
Сиди, отдыхай, жди, пока что-то начнется. Ну а как ты представляешь, чтобы все падали, блядь, сразу с пушками?
Намного надо ускорять. Надо ускорять игровой процесс. Либо менять вообще, как-то перерабатывать что-то. экспериментировать, надо что-то новенькое вводить. Но это просто неинтересно.
Тут никак старт не поменяешь, чтобы сильно. Ты можешь его чуть-чуть ускорить, но все равно какое-то время будет чил лутать.
Lil, it's so hard. Lil Ghost. I mean, you know, Lil Ghost doesn't work. I like Little. I don't know why.
За ФБшку сделайте, там, не знаю, плюс 10 поинтов.
Ну вот видишь, идея уже пришла.
You're an erudite who prefers firm enunciation.
Wow! Now you're getting really hoity-toity there.
Oh yeah, see, this is what we do on Miramar Circle.
Мне интересно, во что это игру превратит, если сделать 10 поинтов за ФБ. Это же в начале самолета будут падать пацаны на контест.
Причем они будут выбирать цель, вы вчетвером, блядь, за ним лететь и кулаками хуярить.
Both me and Paper are leaned up against our map, trying to see like each name as it's moving really close to each other in the collage down there.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a scrapbook as everybody's trying to squeeze as much as they can together down by Viet Omar. And, you know, everybody wants to kind of, you know, the mountaintops, you want to kind of, some teams like to get them early to get information, you know, and there's also the
ну вот тут поспрашиваете, на кого поставить. Вот как здесь из этих команд выбирать фаворитов?
Ну, легко.
Как?
Просто по стабильности. Те же НЛТ, там...
конкретного фаворита в лобби нету. Одного.
Конкретного нету, но у тебя есть для этого несколько купонов, чтобы эти несколько купонов на какой-то пул зарядить.
По стабильности одного дня?
Почему?
Ты хочешь,
по стабильности. В целом, ну НЛТ весьма стабильно играет. Нави этот турнир, ну так все, не особо стабильно играли. 17-е всегда стабильно, типа, играют.
Нет, по-моему, 17-е не стабильно играют, мне кажется. У них они как бы иногда их заметно, а иногда они вообще где-то в жопе там постоянно. Ничего
ну, в этом лобби, кстати, более-менее, вот если у тебя есть 5 купонов, то в принципе несложно угадать. Вот, грубо говоря.
Ну, у меня купон вообще как только открылось голосование, я сразу же один купон залепил на НЛТ. Все, у меня больше нет никаких голосов.
Ну, у меня также, да, у меня только один купон на НЛТ и все.
А у меня там еще куча купонов, надо их поставить.
Ну ты ставишь просто сейчас на каких-нибудь...
Да у меня-то вопросов нет на кого ставить. Типа я решу для себя. Просто пацаны в чате. Золото полетело на пол.
Well, now we're starting to see teams get a little bit...
Ну, вот под конец дня на последние 6 команд точно не стоит ставить. Они точно не выиграют. Ну, под конец сегодняшнего дня берешь просто последние 6 команд, на них точно не ставишь. Они точно не выиграют. Потому что, как так или иначе, форма, ну, более-менее за один день можно показать какую-то. То есть не бывает чудес особо часто. То есть 6 команд мы уже отсекаем. Потом мы отсекаем каких-нибудь залетных типов. Тоже там еще команды 3-4 можно для себя отсечь.
Что значит залетных типов?
Ну, энтропики не играли нахуй весь турнир, тут случайно залетели.
Так, а еще кто?
Ликвиды вообще не похожи по сегодняшнему дню, что они готовы стать чемпионами.
Ну, не знаю.
Ну, по ликвидам понятно, когда они могут выиграть, когда они сразу на первом месте. Типа.
Не-не-не, бывают ликвиды, прям собираются же, было такое, прям ликвиды не играли, потом бат, как начали играть. Ну, я такое помню, было не один раз.
Да, не особо вот верится. Фейзы тоже хз, честно говоря.
ТМА, вот сейчас я посмотрел индивидуально, довольно-таки неплохо.
Ну, выше 5-го не останутся. Вон на канаву, на Нави, на твистов, на 17-х заливаешь. Там дейтрейды какие-нибудь еще могут залететь. Ликвиды шанс маленький, вообще, что они начнут играть.
Sometimes it will just hard shift north like 4 times, and it's just up there by Montenuevo.
The west ones are the ones that are most terrifying whenever you still have so
Канаву
much
тоже не особо сильно верится, если честно.
But those are the best. You say terrifying, but for us.
Какой-то очень слабый финал, не? Мне кажется, или?
Ну да,
я сейчас команду что-то посмотрел, подумал такой что-то. Азиатские команды все какие-то обосранные.
Yeah, in towards Chumasera. Again, these do start to tend going north, and so that's just...
Поэмы просто идеально для этой зоны. Просто езжайте по дороге вниз, пацаны.
Now, Lulu always seeing Spyro. This is a kind of not an isolated 1v1. I think Perfectic should be able to back up his teammate here shortly. And yeah, grenade splashes to the side of TMA. I don't think either team is going to commit to this.
This is just 2 ships passing in the night kind of situation. Let them separate out, let everybody kind of go their own way, regroup and handle what's happening. This is also pretty close to the center of the circle, so nobody wanting to
Макси приехал.
Go on an adventure over here and is going to get...
Они что, про второго не знают, про Клиба, или знают?
Over here on the west side, we're getting a lot of weakened teams, just losing 1 or 2 here or there, and their rotation, and that's not going to be... Well, I say that. Over peakers, you got to be careful. Clib, smokes are now down. What's he going to play from? Does he have an angle or a way to try to make this one work? The car's providing some type of cover. Looks like he's going to peek around, but he's just going to get picked up by...
Что-то его вообще флешка не прихватила никак. Я что-то не понял, как энтропики 29 поинтов нафармили. Откуда вообще энтропики? Алло. Хватит, вырубайте.
Kind of themselves in the middle of United's rotations, but it looks like for now Relo is okay.
Вот как ставить на ликвидов? У тебя еще первая зона только сошлась, а у тебя уже 2 чела сдохло.
That's like a flex if you've ever seen one. United is still playing over into the east of this position, so there are some compounds and stuff, but it's definitely a much more open section of the circle in comparison to where we see a lot of these teams already leaning into the hillsides.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see a lot of teams are getting squished into Chumasera. Not many choices for some of them. You just got to find some kind of safety, some kind of compound to chill out in. It's a couple of
Давай, Токсика, высади нахрен. Это было неплохо. Он успел, засранец?
Первая зона что-то не успел.
Ну хорошо было бы, если бы не успел. Ликвиды, кстати, на победку он там. Чё? Вдвоем остались.
So it looks like he's just trying to feed some information, right? Because they're on the edge, making sure that nobody comes up back behind them.
Exactly. I mean, Kyle here can see everything, you know, to 180 degrees of his team's north. I mean, he can see everything around them. So this is a great position for information. He's just got to be careful with 2 members of overpeakers driving around up there with him. As long as he's able to avoid them, it should be a recovery position.
Here's a perfect example of that north-south I'm talking about. Like you can see, Entropic can't really go to the east, so they're going to have to go out, eat some blue damage going to the north, to wrap up all the way around potentially Montenuevo to come back into this. Well, the circle is going to be kind of open up there. It means the fact that it is going to be a lot of stims burned.
Yeah, there's like one compound on the northwest that's still open, but it's right on the edge, and you're very likely going to have to make a move out into that open space. I mean, there's a reason nobody's kind of out in that dead man's land on that road by that runs from Montenuevo to Los Leones. That road littered with flat.
На Нави, на ЛТ или фулл чума центр?
Да, я думаю, это будет чума.
So there's a few open there in the northwest, but it's going to shift over to the
northwest. Sarah still all up in this circle. I'm kind of excited about that one.
Ну, НЛТ нормально, ТМ с кайфом, велкарды нормально.
Я вообще на самом деле смотрю игру, а в своей голове задумался вообще о чем-то другом, типа вот настолько мощно. Хорошо! Хорошо! А еще остановиться надо было и добить всех. Боже, что они... Ну что вы... Ну что происходит нахер? Ну почему нельзя нормально разыграть это? Какая жесть. Там не добили еще ног, по-моему, у них?
Одного добили, одного нет. Ну там вроде он на дороге, и его не сильно тяжело добить, как я понял. Там сейчас какой-нибудь Церберус.
Да, тут уже смоки нормально. А Доус ошибся, походу, не? А, этот... Чувак едет... не понял. Я думал, они просто где-то встретились с пацаном, решил Доус стопнуть. В итоге вот эти... контесты в дороге на самом деле нередко тайминги руинят, причем можно просто эти контесты заевейдить.
Они не то что тайминги руинят, они еще и, ну типа, как всегда рандомно заканчиваются.
Энтропики решили стакнуться наконец-то, да? Я еду, братан, потерпи немножечко, не нокайся. Я уже все, я подъезжаю, сейчас помогу.
Помнишь, да, я говорил, что на рандомных энтропиках, ну типа залетных лучше не ставить.
Going to start grenading the stairs. He would love to get the point. The Snickers wisely going to put himself into a position where that is not going to be easy for Lucarux.
Oh, the fun of pushing this.
Всего 5 карт или несколько дней? 4 дня. 20 карт. Каждый день по 5 карт.
Подожди, а садовник сколько киллов, да? Рекламы со снайперки еще играет?
As you can see, E United realizing, okay, let's go ahead and get the res back up. As QM now going to be rolling down, Yahoo taking some pot shots as they go.
Yeah, Yahoo with a positional advantage here on the QM and northeast. Yeah, Circle wanted to start moving away from Chumacer.
Мне нравится позиция ликвидов в этой карте.
Она ведь что, в будку едет?
В этой зоне, точнее, не знаю, что там Нави, но поэмы, походу, заканчиваются. Поэмы 0 поинтов за катку.
As, okay, now we're going to try to figure out what we're going to do with this whole Lucarux situation. Is Flood's still just trying to make sure that they hold.
Лукарекс думает, что не знаю, да, что он тут или что. Чё ты там на этом ползаешь-то? Дерись. А Нави реально в будку, что ли? Камон.
Yeah, and as TMA, you would love to finish off Navi here. You know, be able to put one of those top teams in the grave early and try to find yourself a big one to catch back up. And they have a pretty good, pretty good high ground position. It's a tough compound to control at times. It is pretty spread out. I mean, United just making sure they got the resonance Snickers. They're taking this really slow but methodical. Like you said, the edge of the circle is close, so they can afford to be patient.
Oh, Lucarux is going to flank in right behind that, but it's all about missed opportunity. Can he get out from this?
Его не услышали?
They might think that he's.
Я не знаю, как его не услышали, если честно.
They are not sure at all where he went. Nobody's heard him. Nobody's seen him. This might be an easy double.
Oh, goes for the spray. It does pick up too. Lucarux not going to go down without a fight. Now E United suddenly.
Сейчас скроджампить может в эту сторону или нет?
Запикни по улице, клоун.
Это ошибка. Там же понятно, что его контролить будут. Ему надо было на крышу вылезть, мне кажется. У него там как раз хватало времени.
Нет, там на крыше нельзя играть, там видит.
Кто?
Вся карта видит. Ваки Камуко. Точно видит.
Ваки Камуко. Типа его там видит бетонка, наверное, видит гора, но смотрят
бетонка, видит НЛТ.
could find some really impactful damage, but has to back down in the smoke. Doesn't feel comfortable.
Danoa is starting to get a high ground on top of all of this, looking in, starting to hit the shots. As you can see, Puchills just decides, okay, it's time to push and see what I can get out of this one before we get too much of a problem with Danoa. Puchills is pretty close to what's happening, but you can see they're kind of like fish in a barrel right now. Everybody has just got vision onto this dip, and as it's going to be Twisted Minds now also moving.
Soul just hadn't bumped into Puchills there. Danoa might have been able to clean up a lot more without losing.
Джимс, смотри, куда сыграл, под Юшников.
Джимс с Вардом вообще неплохо катает.
Ну чё, НЛТ куда? Под гору будут играть или что? Что они будут? Или будут?
НЛТ надо идти чистить дейтрейдов вот этих вот с каналами.
Got this one. They're going to go and start throwing this one out. And now, what do you even do if you're Lambu? It's all a 17 that's just going to be trying to chase you down. And now that hillside you were trying to take shots from is going to be the way you have to try to escape. That means that everybody's just going to know exactly where he is.
Yeah, and now Lambu forced down the hill right into the waiting arms of the Guangdong Freaks. Also, Twisted Minds watching that as well. So Danoa going to pay the price for trying to third-party this fight. Now, Guangdong Freaks continue to try to fight uphill 17. Let's see how they want to approach this. Are they going to really barricade the Freaks here? You know, maybe the Freaks can get around this.
Там никого вроде не осталось.
But Spyro has really accurate mini shooting. We have seen this time and time again in this tournament.
Man, trying to make it work, but it's going to be Spyro. It's going
Да.
to Flash K down.
Не забрал, не забрал. А, забрал, блин. Срака.
North of him, he's going to have Wildcard that's going to defend him. Now shot's going to be coming out from TMA to force him. Oh, nope. Actually, he's going to get spotted by example. Of course.
Womp womp. Yeah, that's
Wop,
tough
wop.
for the Freaks, but, you know, again, being trapped underneath that, you know, like I said earlier, that compound that they found in the west looks good at first until you realize that the hills around you are ultra steep.
Чё делать собираются?
Ну им либо ехать, говорю, в граунды, вот где дейтрейд, там ниже, правее по карте, либо драться с вайлдкардами, я хз. Ну, еще можно как-то крутануть через низ под дорогой в граунды, где вот эта будка.
Джимс приехал. Хорош, Джимс.
На дорогу вот туда, куда-нибудь.
You and I are both like this, where we're just instantly in love with whatever player has a bolty. Doesn't matter who it is.
Такие они едут под Нуринза.
Twisted Minds trying to come down the hill.
Никого не увидел, гранату зачем-то достал.
Taking a ton of damage. He's surrounded and he's done. But this has given a lot of damage to 17. Exactly.
They're just raining in off of this, benefits galore, and that was
Это хорошее может быть.
massive
Да.
benefit for 17 Gaming. Twisted Minds.
0 урона по перфекту! Батулин сдох на прикрытии.
That's a whoopsies. I'd invest this frag if I'm Lil Ghost. I think you have a really good opportunity to get it. I think he can get it down there.
Вайлдкарты вышли, 17 гейминг, блин, даже не посмотрели ни разу в их сторону.
Spyro takes a splash of damage here, trying to continue to find angles to keep himself safe, but with two teams barreling down on them and just a shack, yeah, this looks like Twisted Minds is about
Ну,
to be
ГГ, НЛТ сдохли.
Возможно, им стоило сразу проезжать вот туда, где сейчас Садом стоит, с крикшотом в граундах.
Ну, они бы тогда были в бутере. Мне кажется, что
тогда
им...
бы вайлдкарды пиздились с 17-ми и друг друга отпикивали, а эти бы жили в граунде и терпели там.
Ну, не знаю, насколько бы они там хорошо себя чувствовали.
Ну, не хорошо, но явно лучше, чем сейчас.
Ну, мне вообще кажется, что надо было играть на эту гору, где 17-я сейчас. Прям...
Так ты можешь на нее играть, когда тебя фуллскон вайлдкарды видят.
До этого, раньше еще.
И до этого они всегда там сидят в бетонке, и с бетонки всегда видят этот склон. Как они играть там будут?
Они в начало этого склона они спокойно могут подъезжать.
И туда они могут подъезжать.
Really difficult flank to deal with.
Oh man, I don't even. They know where he is, but he's just going to continue. Oh,
what? What?
That was a deny if I saw that. But we got Greg Shot that did get res. That means that Wildcard might be able to do something more about this, but I don't know. They still got United shooting him from behind.
Just a 100-meter AK spray there. Just casual, just saving the lives of his team. Absolutely just disgusting from Xiaowu.
Got to be careful though, because we still have TE that might be eyeing coming in this direction, right up back behind 17. They haven't managed to complete.
Вайлдкарты чё, очканули? В итоге не пошли. Очкушники. Им не надо было сразу тогда. Зачем туда Адам поехал? Типа дали ног, такие довольные. Нави в будке кайфуют одни. Они, кстати, в зоне, по-моему, еще.
The edge of it is in the next circle. Grenade outside the shack doesn't find too much damage. Leviz and company gonna let loose Alia with a return one, but Leviz's first one is good.
All these explosions have drawn the attention.
Главное, чуваки за будкой нормально бегают. Оба в будке нокается.
This is a meat grinder. This is just TMA and 17 just carving teams up. CE, you know, Cerberus tried to take advantage of this. Instead, it's just turned right around by TMA. They are letting loose with a barrage.
Cerberus is just regretting trying to make this push. You can see just trying to scavenge their way back. Stepping in, at least finally getting knocked. And Yuppie's going to go down as well. Crazy trying to see if he can get the sprays out of this one, but it's going to be Cerberus. Steps away. Are we going to see Lulu come up?
Тайкон сейчас просто соло разберется.
Has the capabilities to turn this.
Dude, Tycon just went absolutely beast mode there. Lulu always coming in. He's going to get one more knock. Just Tycon to deal with up here. Tycon around the edge of the smoke trying to wrap in. He's going to get spotted by Crazy.
Это чел, который сразу ложится. Меня вообще бесит типы, которые стрелять начинают и ложатся нахуй.
Yeah, you're kind of out in the open, buddy. That's not going to last. That rock's not going to do you no good. Yep, he's going to go down. Ayla, the last one up for Na'Vi, is now looking at 17, and that's probably not going to go too well either.
Well, this is huge for 17. I mean, to have a game like this on Miramar, to be able to put a real exclamation point on the game, they can come through with a win.
У нас 3 сольника просто по низу карты.
This one already, tons of kills, 8 kills across the board. United on the north,
Нави умирают.
on the northwest.
Да, они все умирают. Все сольники умирают.
Так, естественно, там ЕУ никого не это. 17-е Нави закроют. А, да? Ну, это бессмысленный нот, конечно, но...
Yeah, I think 17, you know, with the 2-2 split here, just kind of felt comfortable that they could keep Alia pinned, but, you know, we've seen this with Na'Vi throughout this entire event, that they are mechanically on top of their game.
А ведь он может.
Alia's going to use this moment to try to push up. Are there any reinforcements here? Yeah, I see one coming over. It's Lil Ghost, but he hasn't spotted Alia. Are they going to be able to kind of mentally, you know, use the geometry to figure out that Alia had pushed up a bit?
Alia might be able to get something, especially whenever we look at Lulu at range. These three solos kind of have their own
за зоной откиснет или что? Или направо будет спускаться? Вард накатался.
One solo. Oh, wait, 2. No, you're right. TMA. No, you're right. You were right.
Ну, 17-е сейчас должны понять, что Аля под ними.
I know, it's not fair. I mean, I love the gold. It's a beautiful color, but on Miramar, it kind of...
It might blend.
Yeah, a bit.
Нихера он проходит, ты посмотри. Он еще и в зону зашел.
Не, ну там регион понятно какой, они тяжело додуматься, пока подожди.
Ну он что-то погорячился, конечно.
Of this. Sacred's Flood, both making landfall. They've got control over the southeast as well as the northeast now, and about half of the circle, but they don't have the information to make the move.
I mean, think if United had been able to find, you know, a flush, a kill onto 17. That's the team that's ahead of them. That's the team at the top of the leaderboard. They absolutely sent that maneuver out to try to see if they could punish 17. They could not.
20. Сегодня только 5.
They're aware of the leaderboard. They're aware of this game situation in multiple aspects.
17's kills, man, are just ridiculous. 17 is just such a frag-capable team at any given second. They're just starting to carve a path. You can see that they're eyeing just
все, пацаны сели, кайфуют.
Спириты не прошли, что ли?
I've seen it so many times in BCS Asia. It's just kind of par for the course. I'm like, yeah, this is what they do. They frag out. Now, sometimes they do falter in these late game situations. Sometimes they can't quite close out games that they should. It has been a slight problem, and Xiao Wu with the M24. Please. Oh, just led that one up.
Борзы тоже, что-то не видно.
He's trying to go for it right now. Ghost already at 4 kills. Seeing if maybe he can make some more ghosts here in just a second. He's now leaning down into the southeast. He's playing the low side of that hill, and it looks like these shots coming up from the top might be baiting out capabilities for him to push in. He gets some damage, but not enough to really do what he wants. Throwable's going to come out both sides. Are we going to see anybody connect?
Ну вот как? Ну просто такие хае прямо перед рожей взрываются. Вот это хорошо. Ну это легкое для 17-х. Вайлдкарты просто посидели тупо. Вот как можно посидеть до топ-2 с 2 фрагами, находясь в центре зоны, блин?
Shot at least gets it down in a flush.
Yeah, Nico's has been knocked though, and that is going to be one on the wide. Luke got great shot out in the open. Suju has spotted him. Here comes 17 Gaming. They should
Ой, эти вайлдкарты.
It is absurd. 17 Gaming is a ridiculous.
Ну чё, сегодня 2 топа NLT, 2 топа 17 Gaming. И кто первый топ взял, я не помню.
I mean, just a team that has so much that they want to.
Кто первый топ взял, чат?
You know, think back to the Face It Global Summit was on that 17 Gaming team that got
Не помню, короче.
that was on kind of an awkward side
Ну, собственно, как-то так. Вот такой вот первый игровой день финала PGC 2022. На сегодня игры закончились. Увидимся мы с вами на продолжение завтра в то же время. Ну, соответственно, на том же каналчике. Так, сегодня вечером, если сейчас все срастется с Warzone, то поиграем в Warzone. Если с Warzone не срастется, то, может быть, God of War может PUBG, не знаю. Ну, скорее всего, сегодня вечером в Warzone пойдем поиграем. Надеюсь, чепухи соберутся там все. Там как раз не надо на это. Что-то новенькое хотя бы. Компания это хоть весело. Ладно, все, ребят, я пошел ужинать. Всем вам приятного аппетита, хорошего вечера, отличного настроения. Приходите на следующий стрим буквально через час-полтора максимум, наверное. Давайте увидимся.